sorry, Michael. I'm sorry, Yuri. I'm sorry, Brian Tully, right? You're going to jail. Sorry, Michael. I'm sorry, Yuri. I'm sorry, Brian Tully, right? You're going to jail.
Welcome to the Young Jerks tonight. That intro was so good, I had to play it twice. Just to make sure you're all here, too. I had to build up the audience, too, make sure everyone knows we're live right now. I got a special guest coming back for the third time. He is a retired special. No, I'm saying that wrong. He's a retired supervisory special agent with the Drug Enforcement Administration. I think I got that right. Yes. Second time was a charm. He's back for the third time on the show. Really happy to have him tonight. And I wanted to play that promo to kick it off. Designed or created, produced by our friend John Como. I love that. We don't even ask for it. We get viewer created intro tonight. Thank you so much, John. And if anyone wants to submit videos like that to us, you can definitely do so. Just send them over to me. You know where I'm at the Young Jerks on Twitter. Let's bring up the guests. I'm wicked excited. A lot happened today from just this morning with Aiden Carney. One of his charges was dismissed. The domestic violence thing got dismissed. No pros. Unbelievable. No one saw it coming. I think that's some good news. And also we had the Karen Reed hearing today, which I'm going to talk about 3,000 plus pages of federal information was just sent over. Let's bring him up. Sean McDonough. What's up, Sean?
Michael, how are you, buddy?
Good.
It's great to be here. Great to be back. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. A lot to talk about. I don't even know where do you want to start tonight?
I'll start anywhere you want, buddy. It's your show. I've got all the information. Just that, unfortunately, we're pushed back again. I mean, this is the way it goes.
Right. It's funny because today we're hoping for some great things in the Karen Reed, and then we got some good info, good news on the Aiden Carney front, kind of unexpected. But I think the Karen Reed stuff was good too, because we found out about 3,000 plus pages that the feds just dropped on the defense and the prosecution. What do you think about that? And what do you think might be in those 3,000 pages? You were a federal guy. You set up people for federal prosecutions. The Fed just dropped the 3,000 pages. Have you ever seen them drop 3,000 pages on a state case?
I have never seen any case like this before, because let's face it, this is a state murder case of a Boston police officer. All right. And I don't know, in my professional career with the DEA, I've never seen this happen. What was notable today in the beginning, just to see the confidence of the defense team and Karen's smile, you just knew something was going to happen. I actually thought they were going to be ready to go on something today, but as it turns out, it's really Alan Jackson, Yannetti, and Liza also, they're masters because let's face it, he was about to just walk away. And he said, "Oh, Your Honor, I just want to mention one more thing." And, just like Yannetti did, and matter of fact, going back maybe 4 or 5 other hearings, Yannetti took almost 40 minutes. He just pontificated the whole case. And it was that I thought was absolutely incredible. So today we learned that, the feds, through the TUI process, dropped 3,100 pages in one day compared to the 3,200 pages the Commonwealth gave in discovery over 2 years. And that was a little dig at the Commonwealth. And but the most important thing was the fact that we learned that the majority was exculpatory evidence. And basically, as we all know, I mean, a lot of those pages are going to show that Karen is not guilty of this crime. That's the only way you can read into this.
Now, I had to look that up. Exculpatory evidence, just to make sure I knew what I
Right.
was, because I heard that. That was a big
Right.
phrase that was used today.
Yeah.
That is evidence that favors Karen Reed. Exculpatory is something that favors the defense.
Right. So in other words, there's two ways this runs. Inculpate is when you have evidence that shows that the person is more likely to have committed something. Exculpate is more evidence that tends to show that the person did not, is innocent, right? So when you get, it's all with Brady, all right? So if you listen, I know the prosecution came back today and kind of gave this little answer that, well, we don't agree with the defense. Well, like one of my friends said, if it has 1% that they hid or withheld anything from her, that's a Brady violation, okay? And according to, listen, Alan Jackson and Yannetti have absolutely no reason to put their careers on the line to lie about this, all right? And I just caution people, the acting U.S. attorney for the District of Massachusetts said, in good conscience, I can't allow this case to go to trial. Well, now we know 3,100 pages were delivered, all right, that says this is why this case cannot go to trial. Now, we can speculate all we want. I could go, there's Dylan right there. I can't believe it. We can speculate all we want, right? I don't think they have the taillight. Unfortunately, my little pet project, I don't think they have the taillight stuff. What they have is a major bomb, and it's about to explode. And the taillight's just, little frosting. That's all that is. And that's bad. Let me tell you something. That can sink the case right off the bat. What that does, it shows that you cannot trust the investigators. Anything they say after that taillight, whether it's the GPS, whether it's whatever, all right? Witness statements, did they fudge some which? Here's the thing. In my job, in any job, right? Or police work, you have the witness fill out their forms, fill out the statements, and
They
then
sign it.
at least they sign it or initial it. We don't know what these people said. So, I say when you have a tainted investigation, everything is tainted. You can't trust it. It just takes one time you lose your credibility. You've lost it all. You'll never testify again. These guys are, like I said, who had so much power to have these guys risk their careers, number one, and risk going to jail? These guys are going to jail. That's the bottom line. It's
Absolutely.
just how much is going to be given as evidence will dictate for how long they go to jail for. And that's a shame. I said this the other night. It's a shame.
Yeah, you ever want to see law enforcement go to jail? That's for sure.
No, but I'll tell you, you do in this case.
Yeah, right.
Because they try to put an innocent woman into jail. That's the
Right.
problem.
That's
And if
the
they've
problem.
done a real investigation, if they've done a true, honest, by the book, like in the Brian Walsh case, by all accounts, that case was done by the book. How can you have such a difference? And it just tends to show that people were influenced to go off the rails here. And I'm sure the FBI has it. I'm
Yeah.
sure they have it. They don't need it for in this case, but they have it, and we'll see where it goes.
We're getting a lot of questions and comments. One of the
Sure.
things we're going to get to some of them too, but this comment I want to kind of jump off of because it reminds me of something that Olivia Nile kind of brought up in maybe the feed of Turtle Boy on a show the other night, and I think she was pushing back on one of the better reporters for the mainstream press, but still not doing a great job, in my opinion. And I'm going to jump off on it just as this is an example. Rob Gary says, why else would they be doing marathon interviews at Moakley? And that's the federal courthouse. There's been some reporting, but not from the mainstream news, from people like Turtle Boy and other folks in the Free Karen Reed movement, noting that some of these people have been seen at the federal courthouse. Some of the officers, the state police, and we know that Colin Albert, for instance, was definitely, he was served a subpoena. My question is, why don't you think the mainstream media, like even Boston 25, who's supposedly doing a good job, why aren't they staking that place out? Like if I didn't have to walk dogs all day, I'd be hanging out at that federal courthouse every day.
Right.
It's got a beautiful view. I know some people over there. There's some great restaurants. I'd be just sitting over there waiting every day to see who I could take a picture of walking in and out of that courthouse. Why do you think Boston 25, Channel 7, all these other stations, Boston Globe, they're not investigating? They're just every once in a while they go to court, they report what the DA says, they barely even report what the defense says. It seems like they're going even, further in the tank for the defense, for the prosecution right now. Why do you think they're not doing the real investigative journalism on this?
Well, I mean, to Ted Daniels' credit, he was the one that broke the story about the letters between Morrissey and the DOJ. That that was never truly explored, but I mean, he hit the nail right on the head on that one, which then caused the the whole ball of wax to come forward. Once we found out how early on in Morrissey and his office was having communications with the DOJ, that spun everything into, okay, so what is it? Is it exculpatory evidence? And now we have that brought about the TUI process. And here's the other thing we haven't even discussed: what was on Jen McCabe's Verizon cell phone records. That's another. I mean,
Piece of info that we just got, right? The defense
right?
got.
They just got it, and then you talk about supplements. Well, that's what Jackson and Yannetti are talking about. Listen, it looked like even the emotions before TUI, before Jen McCabe's cell phone records, were supposed to be bombshells. All right. I don't know how this thing came out, but there was a page that was released and taken down. I'm not sure if it was Twitter or Facebook, but there was 2 sections and it was blocked off saying planting of evidence. This was on the motion to dismiss, and witness intimidation by Brian Albert. Okay. Now that was never talked about at all. Of course, the planting of evidence was, but anyways, yeah, I do. I think all roads do lead back to Brian Albert. There's no doubt. No doubt. So
What do you think that intimidation could be about? I know people on Twitter have said that he's been intimidating people. I mean, these are anonymous sources. I have no idea if it's
well,
true, but intimidation was brought up
if
in
we
that. What do you think could be being done?
if we go with the defense theory of this case, think about this. All right, a brutal beating took place. You had young kids upstairs. I mean, well, here's the problem: we don't have any idea because no police report documented what the hell was going on in 34 Fairview, right? It was more about the kisses and drinks up at the waterfall and CF McCarthy's. So, but I can imagine it was a very chaotic scene. Brian is a very explosive, volatile person. I can imagine orders were given. You get these fucking kids, put them in the corner, they don't move at all. And somehow, the word was given strictly. That could be intimidation, right? You leave this house, you don't say another word about this. Things like that. We know at least one person in that house has cooperated. No one else wanted to touch that, but at least my team did. Um, Melanie Little did, but no one else wanted to touch it. They didn't want to look at it. Right in that first paragraph, it said, analysis by the defense and their investigation, coupled with the discovery from the Commonwealth, show that a civilian witness, I mean, this is very, very detailed. A civilian witness's phone showed that John O'Keefe was in the house. We always said this from day one. If you could put John in the house, it's over with. You know, other
Now,
people
what do
say,
you think that means? Because that came up with Aiden and other folks have been debating what that might mean. What do you think it might mean? Like, is it?
This is what I think. All right. So, okay, we know what. They say 11 people were there. They may have been 15 people there. This is the thing. We can't trust. If you lose confidence in the investigation, you can't believe anything for it. There may have been 15 people in that house. Someone in that house brought their phone to the defense. It was analyzed, coupled with John's phone, and they married. Like I said, I'm not the most technical guy in the world, but from what I understand is you go into, there's 20 people in a room. Their cell phones are on. They're going to be bouncing off each other's phones for whatever reason. You're not going to get secret stuff, but there's going to be like a fingerprint in those technical terms that dictate once the phone is analyzed, it has a digital print that shows, and in this case, it shows that this particular phone, whoever that witness was, right, had to have been close enough to John, okay? And let's face it, the FBI has the geofence. And like I said, that is what the whole case is about. Who's in that house? Who puts John there? And once he's in that house, it's over with. You know, other people are saying, oh, well, you know, the GPS only allows John to get to a certain point. Well, who says that? Those guys, the state troopers, you know, and they got their yardsticks and they're putting things in the ground. Oh, come on, right?
Right.
So, like I said, you lose your credibility one time. That's it. It's over with.
Do you think that geofence was turned over to the state? That was a question that just came in.
Okay, so what can we speculate? What could be given over? Absolutely, the geofence. Absolutely, all technical information about anybody who was in that house. All the technical information on all the principals: Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe, John O'Keefe. Okay, look at this. How about the relationship between Karen's phone and John's phone? That's a no-brainer. I mean, if we really look at this, you know, if we don't make too much, it's a very simple process. You know, it's a process of elimination. If there's separation between Karen's phone and John's phone, well, he wasn't by the car, right?
Right.
You know, so like I said, there are some holes, I will have to say, but you know, if you think about it, how do you get a phone not to respond? You either turn it off, you could put it into airplane mode. There's a lot of different things, but we know a phone. Jen McCabe called John's phone at 12:45. It was answered, right? And then, like I said, we got to look at the records, but I just think it's devastating. Listen, look at Lally today. He missed his own. He showed up late, and the judge gave him a dig. Oh, I don't know what the lady's name, the female prosecutor said. Did you know Mr. Lally was coming? I mean, she gave him a dig. They're completely spun off on this. They're spun away. They really are.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens next. You had made a post on Twitter responding to, I think, Kevin.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, about, or maybe it was the other dude, the other even more cringeworthy. I mean,
Yeah.
I like Kevin. I think I'm like you. I like Kevin, but I think he's like kind of, yeah. But the other dude, oh, maybe it was the other dude. I don't know who was going after you, but you were talking about the FBI and that you
Right.
hadn't talked to the FBI agent except when she called you.
Right.
And basically you had referred two women to the FBI. Um, and was that related to this Canton case? What was that about?
Well, if okay, if people who know what my position was back in the day when we were in the groups, well, the first group, the John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, the original group, it was about corruption and the case, right? And we were getting so many leads about corruption, right? And how people were definitely so uneasy to approach the police department, and including Helena Rafferty. All right, so it was early on in, and there was information provided to me by two women that were both sexually assaulted. Okay, and anyways, I didn't really. I mean, I'm down here in Naples, but I did have a contact who was a police officer in Canton who spoke 3 hours to a female agent. And I talked to this police officer. He had a 3 hour interview, so he cooperated. Right? That's a hint. And I said, "Listen, do you have a contact number for this person?" He's yeah. And he told me her name. It's a female, and she was one of the two agents that handled Canton. And I just basically said to let's call them A, B. I said, "Ladies, listen. I understand your problem. I think you might have a better shot of contacting this female agent and just discussing with her your concerns." Both of them got back to me and they said they were received very greatly, very gracefully, and empathetically, and they thanked me. Okay, and that was it. So in I think it was around September, October, I got a call down here in Naples, and it's from Chelsea. I said, "Oh God, here we go, Chelsea. I know what Chelsea means, right?"
FBI,
Hello, hello.
Boston FBI. Yeah.
She is, "Hello, is this Sean McDonough?" I go, "Yes, it is." She says, "You're a hard person to get a hold of." I said, "I don't think so." But anyways, she identified herself. It was the agent, and I don't want to say she was, no, she wasn't nasty, but she was concerned. And I said, "Well, wait a minute. What are you calling about?" She says, "The women that got the letters from Canton, the threatening letters, they're calling my phone." I said, "And they're saying you did it." I said, "I never talked to those women." I said, "Furthermore," I said, "it's not a federal offense. Okay. Go low, go to your local, go to where I guess the letters were mailed from Brockton. Go to the Brockton police." Right. Anyways, make a long story short, that was the only time I ever spoke to that female agent. That was it. I never provided information. I just made two referrals, and that's it. So strange how
And what
things get around, Come
and
to
what
the
about
horse's
the
mouth.
yeah, what about those women? I mean, that was what happened to them on the town dime? Like, what's the deal on that?
Well,
If you
well,
can say, if you feel
I
comfortable
mean,
saying.
one was, several years ago by a person who lived in the town. It was investigated, and it was a botched investigation.
By
Okay.
Canton police?
Yes, purposely, a purpose
Purposely.
botched. Yeah,
Why do you think it was purposely done?
because of what I
Well,
interviewed the victim, and she went through the whole process, and I said, "Well, that's not right," and she agreed with me, and she gave me a little more information, and was completely. They went through the whole trial. It was sad, very sad, and I'm not going to give the person's name, right? But she made it well. She came out and made it very clear at one of the town meetings. Right? But people who watch the town meetings in the early meetings know who this person is, and I'm not going to say her name. The second person came to me with a little bit more recent information, and it had to do with a Canton high school teacher at the time. So based on that, I said, well, and I do know, based on those two, that other people Jennifer O'Donnell is a spokesperson for the victims. There are other victims out there. Matter of fact, I got a phone call by another person that went to school with the suspects in this case, and she was sexually assaulted, and that got botched. And I say, well, this is really, this is not even my pay grade. This is out of my pay grade. But think about this: you live in a town, you can't even go to the town police. There is absolutely no trust for these people to go to their police department. That's the takeaway.
That's scary stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you know if the FBI did anything with those reports?
I do not. Like I said, the only thing I did was I just
referred,
and that was it. But I do know both victims got back to me, and they were very appreciative. All right. One, I believe one did in fact reach out to Kevin. And anyways, I don't know where that went to, but there were others. So pretty sad commentary, I have to say. When you live in a town, you pay incredible taxes, and you don't feel confident in your leadership in the town or the police department.
I'd love to speak to those women if they're listening. On or off the record, hit me up.
Yeah.
Wow. And Jennifer O'Donnell is running for school committee. She's been on the show. She's a regular commenter at Canton Town Hall. I hope she wins. I like her. A lot of people like her. Jennifer O'Donnell running for school committee.
I know the select board don't like her that much. But that's not surprising. That's sad. That's sad too. Come on.
Yeah. I think they're scared of her more than they don't like her. I think
She's
that they
tough.
are. Yeah.
Especially on that, what's that thing they have? The slush fund. I know there has another name, but she is all over.
She dragged them.
She's almost over that as much as I'm on the damn taillight, but she is all over that money. So it's beautiful.
And the way she speaks, it's like very captivating. People she's obviously I don't want to sound like Kevin now. She's an attractive woman. Let's put it that way. And I think these guys, like a lot of guys, it's when you're getting undressed, like dressed down by someone who speaks like she does. Definitely not. I almost feel bad for them. But they don't treat her well. They really don't treat her well. Like if I was them, I would try a little, be nice. They're not, those select board guys are not nice to them at all.
The mitigation, that's what it is, the mitigation fund. And
from the billboards, the billboard mitigation fund.
Money's donating from the billboard company. And she found it. She called them out. I mean, she was not backing down at all. And she's doing all the auditing. It's amazing.
Yeah, people agreeing with the comments too. They said she's very captivating. This is Bo. Says Jennifer starts speaking and you're glued. It's so true.
Yeah.
And she's very calm. She's very
articulate. Very articulate.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything I'm not.
Now you're articulate.
I live what I am. I'm a working class guy.
Yeah.
I used to be like a white collar for a little while. I was a money man, but I've always liked, I was most comfortable working on the trucks, delivering the beer and those guys. And that's how I grew up.
My earlier days, I was a C. Walsh mover. Back in the day in Boston, there was Casey and Hayes and C. Walsh movers. So, we were in town all the time. Yeah.
How many hours would you work moving trucks, like in a shift?
Well, it was an 8-hour shift. It depends if we did all from Maine, but we did all the schools during the summer. We did Boston Bay Bank when they moved to those big skyscrapers. We moved all the equipment in there. It was great. We'd work our shift and then we'd do overtime from say 5 to 2 o'clock in the morning. It was beautiful. So yeah, I was a kid. I was 17, 18 and did it all through college with a couple of other my buddies in Canton. Yeah.
Was it a union job?
It was a union job.
Was a union job. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Packers and warehousemen. Listen,
we have so much in common, Sean, because I worked. I was pushing the beer, delivering the beer for a union job through high school and college, and
the first day
we also have sports in common. We have a lot in common. It's so funny.
So the first day,
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
first day at work, this the shop steward comes up. I don't know. I'm just a kid. Just
Yeah.
I want to make some money. He said, "You owe X amount of dollars." I said, "Oh, I haven't made a dime yet." Oh no. Listen, you got to give this
How
money
much
up.
did you have to pay?
It was back in 1975. I don't know. Maybe it was like $80, $40, $80. I don't know. And I'm
Was it a
saying,
summer job or like
it was a
full
summer
time?
job, but
Yeah.
we were hired on as full timers, and it was,
That's
I'll tell you, it was great. I mean, it paid for itself because even on break, like on when I went to college, I came back in the summertime, back on school breaks. We always had a job. It was beautiful. But
yeah. That's
you
see,
know,
I did the same thing, but they didn't make us pay dues until until you were done with college. Like, so
oh
I
man,
never paid dues until like I worked there 4 or 5 years before I had to pay dues, which was awesome. But I remember that day, same thing happened to me. As Stewart's like, dude, you got to pay dues. Go up to this, and it was like $600 or something. Teamsters, like the
yeah,
initiation fee was big back then. It was
right.
like maybe it wasn't
Oh,
600, maybe it was like 300, but whatever
yeah,
it was like a good amount for the time.
right. I was just thinking. I said, "Geez, I haven't made a dime yet. And you want me to pay?" But it did pay for itself. It was a great
Seriously,
job
yeah.
where it was.
Both
Had
the
to meet get some
yeah,
characters, man. Wow.
there you go. You get the characters, and you also it's definitely protects the workers. You get better pay, I
Oh yeah,
noticed, and
absolutely.
especially safety. Safety was like that would
Sure.
we'd shut down the whole place if there was a safety issue and management didn't address it. So,
Right. Yeah. And
but
plus I
we
learned a
also
lot
had
too.
sports. What's that?
I learned a lot. I learned a lot
There you
about
go.
moving, taking the corners, with the bureaus, the couches, how do you get them through the doors? It was actually a really great job. So,
And I was gonna mention two other things we got in common:
okay.
sports and
Yeah.
the guitars in the back. So I don't know which
Oh,
one
geez.
would you rather talk about, the guitars in the back or high school sports that you played? Because I know
Um,
you're a good athlete.
I mean, I was a regular guy. I don't know. Sports. I mean, I hated football, but I was the captain of the football team. I loved baseball, but they wanted me to throw the shot put. I was a shot putter. I won the Hockenbach. I don't know if I still have the record, but it was Hockenbach League, and I got second in the state and third in New England's my
A
senior
shot
year.
put?
Yeah,
Oh, you must have been a beast.
I,
I did. I was the same thing. I couldn't decide between baseball and track. My brother did baseball. I
yeah,
ended up doing track. I did like 100, 200. We were both fast,
yeah.
um,
Wow,
with like shot put guys, man, those like
yeah. And the kid that beat me,
yeah.
right? I wasn't really big. I was quick. The kid that beat me was a kid from Stoneham, Ron Melkonian. I always remember this. You would look at him, you would think, man, but you know what it was with him? It was his technique. He was flawless and he had speed and it was the release. And anyways, but yeah, and then I actually got a half scholarship to Boston College for track. And it was like this. Well, we can only pay you for your mission, for your school. I said, I can't live on campus. I just wanted to I wanted to get out of the damn house. So I ended up going up to Westfield and they got me in. There was no scholarships in the state schools back then. But Jerry Gravel, a great guy, God be good to him. He got me in, no problems. And that's where I ended up going. And it's funny, I started there with the shot put. And of course, you go up from 12 pounds to 16 pounds. And then I ended up playing baseball. I was a walk on for the baseball team.
No
So,
shit.
yeah,
See, I should have done that.
it was kind of weird.
I got hurt wrestling, so I quit. And then I try. It's funny. I don't know how. Did you find this like high school sports? I love doing them. I was so dedicated to it. College, it was so much harder to like do it all. I don't know how these student
Yeah,
athletes do it. Like even I, as much as I love wrestling, and I got hurt, but like I started doing track after because I got hurt and I could
yeah,
do track, but I just couldn't have the dedication to it, and
yeah.
I wasn't as good. Like I was a better wrestler than I was actually
Right.
track, and it's
You
just
know,
hard.
yeah. Well, the thing about college, there was no structure. You had to make your own structure. You had to be responsible for yourself, your classes, your workouts, your training,
And
and
then you
it's
look
a good
around and
thing.
there's all the girls and the partying, and you're like you're
Forget
missing
about
all that.
it. Jeez.
Yeah, like that
Especially
was
back in
my
the
fight.
especially back in the disco days. My God, in the 70s. Forget about it.
Yeah. I can't imagine Westfield State too. I almost went there. I visited a couple. It's funny. One of my friends who's a cop now, that I grew up with, he went to Westfield State. So I know
Really?
it's like a big law enforcement school, isn't it?
Yeah, criminal justice is a big field there. But it was great. We had a lot of guys from Eastern Mass, which was great. So, and we had the townies messing with us, the Westfield townies,
I
but it
bet.
was great. A lot of good friends. I still have a keep in touch. They come down to Key West. Sometimes I go down to see them. I haven't gone the past couple of years, but great bunch of guys.
See, this is where people get mad at me because, like, when I have Sean on, we talk all about the case. We're going to continue to talk about the case,
Sure.
but I like to just, I know that some people are like me. We've had Sean on all these shows. We've heard him talk about the cases over and over. But I think some of the best fun I have with Sean is sometimes not talking about the case, and just like some of your DEA stories have been amazing. The last episode, people got mad when we started talking about how you got that huge award, and I was just like,
Yeah.
people, chill out. We're gonna get back to the case.
Yeah.
We're not forgetting the
You know,
case.
it's funny. I was talking with Dylan today, before and after the show. It's like my thing about the case is, there's plenty of time to talk about me. I really do want to, you know, focus on this case, and this has been a time. And I said the other night, 2 years ago, Karen and John were a blip as far as news, right? A year ago, they were the furthest thing from my mind because I was down here. I was taking care of my father 24/7. April comes. My buddy Billy gets me involved in this case. There hasn't been one moment since this past April that I haven't thought about John and Karen, and it's crazy. But this is what you do. I learned that daily service to others is a key. It's in the giving that you receive. And, like I said, unfortunately in this case, it's so polarizing. You have two sides. One of us are going to win, one of us are going to lose. And unfortunately, I don't think the other side realizes that the evidence is not in their favor. It's all tainted. And I told you before, this was a very difficult decision for me at first to even think that I would support a person who was accused of killing a person that in the same business as me for 35 years. And once I dug into it, it was absolutely a no-brainer for me. And like I said, I mean, there's people on the other side who are cops who are basically supporting corruption. That's what they're doing. They're supporting. How do you look at that taillight at 5 o'clock in the morning? I called it the progression. I did 4 pictures. There's 2 pictures at 5:08. There's the smash light at 6 o'clock, and then you have the piece that was found on the snowbank. How do you look at that progression and say, well, wait a minute, something's not adding up here? It's as simple as that. You don't even have to talk about it. That taillight, the way it's smashed, cannot be the same taillight that's at 5 o'clock in the morning. It just can't. What's the word? No, it screams credulity.
Yeah,
It's screaming.
credulity.
It's
Yeah.
a duck. This is a duck.
You really like the Melanie Little, I can tell.
I definitely do.
Yeah, me too.
Listen, she's smart. What I love about her, there's no bones, right? She says, listen, I'm going to call it like it is. If this was against Karen, I'd be against Karen. She says, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see how Karen can be held accountable. And she's smart. This is what the credibility is about. She's got the same amount of years in law that I have in law enforcement. It truly is. She's great. I just wish she was around earlier because the way she breaks down the case is just incredible. Really is. I learned so much from her. And everyone. I learn from everyone. I love learning.
Yeah, you know what? I liked a lot too when she brought the dog expert on.
Oh, God.
Because I'm kind of I'm not gonna say I'm a super expert, but I'm pretty good with dogs. I work with dogs all day. And for like the last 8 years full time and even beyond that. So and I didn't it's funny because I didn't think to have a dog. I could have had my dog trainer on. I have a guy that I work with that's an expert. I should have brought him on. I didn't even think of that. And she did that. That was amazing when she brought that dog trainer on. And knowing that he had that kind of resume. And like when I look at it too, like the arm, I've had scratches just like that from dogs. I know
Right.
some people, they say that they're bites. I've been bitten too, and bites can all look all different. There's all different types of bites. There's the deep ones and the shallow ones. Lucky I've only had minor bites, the shallow ones, but the scratches,
Right.
and you're always putting your arm up to like protect. Like a lot of
Sure.
dogs, even when they're friendly, they just go up and scratch you. It's not like a
Right.
real deep scratch, but that's what it looks like to me.
Right. So, it's funny when you say that. Now, like I said, I got hundreds of leads. All right. One was this, and it's attributed to Brian Higgins, where he told allegedly, right? Could he say allegedly because you don't know, but he allegedly told people over the summer that there was him, a Boston cop, another cop, and another person. Okay. We'll just leave it like that. And at that table, they were at a bar. They were sitting at a table. And one of the guys goes, "Come on, Brian, give it up. What's going on?" And he just basically stops. He said, "Listen, um, I never touched John. All right. The fight happened upstairs. The kid was all over John. It got out of hand. Brian got involved. The dog came down. I grabbed the dog. I was pulling the dog." Okay. So when Melanie's trainer came on, he's talking about how the dog, when the dogs get pulled off the arm, right? Those marks, right? And basically, and he goes further. And this is what's crazy about this whole thing. This guy said, after John was knocked out, he started convulsing, right? And he started throwing up. Well, guess who said that back in February 2nd? Steve Scanlon.
That's right.
It said the same thing. So if you put all these things together, somebody in that house, right, told the same story to Steve Scanlon. So you get Brian Higgins saying this story, and you got Steve Scanlon saying the same story, because we know that's the story he told. Somebody in that house was able to get info. Well, Brian was there. Right. So was it Brian? Who knows? I don't know what the relationship between Brian and Scanlon is, but that's one thing. So, but this goes back to the dog. If he's pulling and the dog is latching on, that accounts for those elongated marks. And there's definitely, I did a thing, a guy on the back channel, Greg, I'll just say his name's Greg. He sent me these photos, and I said, "Don't you want to put it?" He said, "No, I don't want anything to do with this, Sean. You do it." So I put the photos up, and he outlined real dog bites with John's arm.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And I got a lot of comments. They said, "My God, this is what it's like." And for me personally, it was always about the dog. For me, that's what convinced me. House long and all that stuff, that's fine. But it went from the dog to the taillight. So we got to, anyways, that's the whole thing about that. But, you got to be careful with, information coming in. But if you keep hearing circular information, you keep hearing the same story, somewhere in the middle is the truth. I used to say,
with a smoke, there's fire, right?
Right. Like domestics. I'd go on a domestic call when I was a cop, right? Well, there's his story, there's her story. Somewhere in the middle, you got the truth. And that goes with anything in life, right? Anything.
Good advice. Got a lot of comments, a lot of questions coming in. People want to talk about the, I can't even say it, exculpatory evidence. I know we've already talked about that. I'm wondering if they're late to the show, but we could talk about it more, I guess, right?
There's a person, Joel 57. That's a great question for $25.
Yeah, let me find that one actually. Here it is. Here's a question.
Yeah.
What has been the threat level against you, Sean? I have no doubt that you can handle yourself, but does it play mind games with you?
That's a good. Well, Joe Warren, I outed. All right. I guess I doxed him. Okay. He put my wife's photos up, which was great. I mean, fine. All is fair in love and war, right? The threat.
I think that shit's weak. That shit is so weak.
Well,
what does that have to do with anything? There's only one reason you do that. There's only one reason.
Then he texts her, right? He texts her, right? and my wife, I mean, she'll get the text, and he's talking about stuff that someone said. It was the way it was worded,
How did you know
and
it was him?
because I had all these texts from him before, right? But he uses Google numbers. He uses, I mean, all kinds of numbers. These guys are great. You know, the funny thing about Joe Warren, right? Comes off as this tough guy from Rosendale or High Park, whatever. You know, he's talking about how he was treated so bad as a kid, you know, in the inner city, and he thinks he's a white supremacist and all this stuff. The problem with him was before I even came on the team, he was Team Karen. He was this
Right.
guy I knew as Jay Robert, right? I don't know who. Listen, you don't know who any of these people are, but he became one of the inner circle. I believe he was in touch with Karen in the early days. I believe. And he was very close with Natalie. Okay. Things started going sideways after we got in because there was things in the back channel in the mods and the administrators and all that stuff. And he got bounced. I was telling Dylan today, one of the team members that I had, right? It's a female. It's a former federal agent, and back in the early days, we don't really know each other. We talk every day, but she calls me one day, and I didn't answer. Right? I don't know what I was doing. She calls me back. She says, "Hey, would you use the bitch button?" I go, "What?" She says, "What did you use? The bitch button?" I go, "What the hell's the bitch button?" And she says, "You know, when your wife is calling or someone's calling, you just press the stop button on your phone, you know, hang up." I go, "Wow. Well, I found another bitch button on as a moderator, and you just put these guys in a timeout or you suspend
Kick
them
him
for
out.
30
Yeah.
days. I did that to Jay Robert. And he and Natalie, because she got iced out by the other mods, they started this crazy Facebook page. They call themselves the Coltrane Brothers or some stupid thing. And anyways, it was a failed attempt, but they put impounded evidence out because Natalie had it. She gave it to Joe Warren. But then he becomes this tough guy on Twitter as antiquated rogue. And I said, "Look at this idiot. Who is he? Coming at me hard." It ends up being this guy that I've known, no, not known, but knew of him. So it's a long story.
It's so silly that these people, they get so mad about things like getting kicked out of a Facebook group.
Yeah.
It's like the stupidest shit. Like I don't know.
The
I've
only
been
thing,
kicked out of Facebook groups. I don't care. Like it's like whatever. I
the
don't
only
get it.
thing, if I was to answer Joel, the typical bullshit. You're going to get locked up. You're in the conspiracy. You were Kevin's great thing. I'm part of the team. I'm on the defense team. No one puts this much effort into something that they're not getting back. I haven't taken a dime, a penny.
Yeah, they've accused you of taking money. You said you've taken
It's
no money.
crazy. Me and Olivia, listen, like I told you, what's in it for me? What's in it for me is I get to do two things. I get to have passion about something, and I get to do daily service for others.
Bingo. That's for me
it.
too.
That's
I
my
know
paycheck.
people. Yeah, people come at me about they came at me about being a grifter and the money. I've been doing this show for no money forever. It was nice to have more followers. It was nice to have more money coming in on the show.
Right.
But it's at the end of the line,
Yeah.
this isn't changing my life money, like number one. And number
Right.
two, the main thing I even do this show is what you said. It's to feel good. Like giving is better than receiving. Like,
Right.
and when you give, you receive. Like that. Especially as you get older, you realize that everything in life now, it's like I'm going to only have so many years left. So what can I give so people actually don't hate me when I die? Like, you know what I mean? It's like that's it. That's the life.
You're like myself. I'm on the other end. I'm almost on the turn on the back nine now. Right. I've had a couple of near-death stuff. In my physical, I had really bad case of diverticulitis, and I wore a bag. This is the thing about
Grant.
What's his name? Grant. When I said that, I did wear a bag for 8 months. Right. Yeah. My father wore one since 1960. That's what I did for him. I changed his bag 4 times a day. It wasn't pleasant, and I just said to him, "If you need tips, I'll help you."
Yeah.
Because my father had ulcerative colitis.
Full of it. The kid's full of it. This kid is
Yeah.
he all anytime you go after him about anything, he claims a status. And he claimed that I was a homophobic, and I'm a huge LGBTQ plus supporter. I'm left, obviously, and he gave me shit about using we on our Twitter. And I don't know if you noticed, the young jerks is plural. It's a plural. So
Right.
he's going after my pronouns, which is I and we and me and us. Yeah, I use them all because the young jerks is plural. It has an S at the end. And
Sure.
so, when I'm talking about the show, a lot of times I do you we. He was going after my pronouns. So how much of a hypocrite can you be?
Come on. I mean, I get the new wokeness, but come on, pronouns, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, if he wants to, be in that world, then don't go after my. You know what I'm saying? Though he's a hypocrite.
yeah. But waiting to do Dylan's show today, it was pretty sad for the kid because he wants to be taken as a serious journalist, right? And I
Right.
have no doubt the kid is intelligent. I have no doubt.
No, he is
But he's given the
intelligent.
finger.
Give him
He's
that.
given the finger. I guess he's following around some family. Maybe it was the McAlberts coming in. I'm not sure, but he's given the finger to all the people
Oh,
outside.
exactly.
How do you take a kid like that seriously? He just lost his credibility for anything.
And the McAlberts must be mad at him now. Like, it's funny. Like, this is what I've been telling people too. Like, on the pro, Karen Reed side, I said, don't worry about Grant, because what I know about Grant is whoever he gets close to, he ends up burning. And
Well,
so that's what the McAlberts are like. You guys are foolish if you take on Grant. That's all I'm
yeah.
going to say about it. But
Well,
it's the truth of it. And I think by him putting up the finger today, gave a perfect example of why
right.
he's not good for them.
Think about that just a little bit, right? All the people that could be in favor of the McAlberts, right? They don't have much support when you think about it, right? Not that the people that are going out front for them are not good people, but you would think, you got law enforcement, right? Like Brian Albert, right? Not one cop has come forward to, like I said the other day, to say anything good about him, like to say he would never do this to a brother officer. That's a lie, but I'm just saying no one is out there saying that, right? We're the people in Matt McCabe's circle. I mean, why can't? I'm sure they have people that can do what we're doing. I mean, I could
know
do
it's
this.
so
I mean,
weird. You're
I could
right.
do a YouTube thing.
Like Matt
Why can't you have
McCabe is like a
someone,
tech worker. Yeah, he would
right?
definitely have
I mean,
somebody.
And all these people are losing their credibility, So, but like I said, it's getting real now because
And the
I mean,
press too. Like there was a press woman today. I forget her name, but she Jessica made a post about Grant
Machado,
today. Yeah.
yeah,
And how he was harassing her in the press box. And it's like like I said, McAlbert's, if I were you, I would disassociate immediately with that guy.
yeah. Find someone new, but it's over. It's late. It's too late.
Yeah, it's over.
Too late. It is over. I mean, I'm sorry, but
They got a conspiracy theorist as their PR rep now.
yeah. And think about the state police. You don't think there's people in the state police circle that have technological backgrounds that can do a YouTube channel? I mean, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
Get with the times. It's true.
Right.
I'm surprised the Boston Globe doesn't have a show. I mean, it's just ridiculous that they don't even have YouTube shows like these bigger networks. I want to ask you more about Brian Albert because
Okay.
there's been a lot of comments about him tonight.
Okay.
And some people have speculated why do you think people are afraid of this guy for some reason that we don't know? Is that or is that a conspiracy theory? Like what?
No.
Like what reason? Why would people be afraid of Brian Albert beyond the obvious ones? If it's just the obvious, let's state them.
All right. Obviously, he served time overseas, right? Gulf War. All right. It's pretty well known, right? His extracurricular activities as far as violence. Okay. It's well known. All right. Now, on the job, stellar guy, you know, did the job, was, you know, always showed up in time. Homicide detectives would use his unit to bound up guys. But there was some about him and booze. Listen, I know them. I know my own brother's one of those guys, right? Punch you out in a heartbeat, you know, just something not right. And I don't know. They should fear him, right? I don't think he's in that circle anymore. All right. But I mean, this has gotten very serious for him. All right. It's not looking good. It doesn't look good for him.
Do you
I mean,
think
listen,
do you think there's a comment here? It says because Brian Albert knows things. Do you think he has stuff on the, or do you like how?
okay.
Do
So
you think that's a ridiculous thought, or do you think it's
no,
maybe true?
I've said this from day one. Okay. He had enough. He knew someone that he could call in, right? Because this was serious now. This got serious. He could call someone in to get people to risk their careers and possibly go to jail. That's huge. All right. I don't think they thought this thing completely through because let's face it, a lot of police work, and here we go, is luck. It's a lot of police work is luck. It's not what you know. It's luck. Who would have ever thought maybe the FBI was already involved in something and they caught this whole thing from get-go. So it's going to be very interesting when Alan Jackson said that both motions are going to have severe supplements. Amazing.
And what kind of info do you think might be in those supplements? I mean, I know we're speculating again, but 3,000 pages plus got dropped on them. What could be they adding to?
Yeah. Grand jury information, the geofence, witness statements, electronic recordings, whether it's body to body or body, like if someone wearing a wire or someone on wiretaps. A lot of different things. Witness statements, people from the house. Listen, I already said this. You have to be a fool to believe that no one from that house has not cooperated. That you're a fool to believe that.
Now I've got to ask, do you need a break or something to get water? I know you're coughing a
No,
little
no,
bit. I want to
I'm
make
good.
sure you're all
I
right.
have
You had
water right
COVID recently. I don't want to work you over. You're doing all these interviews today. Yeah,
now.
get some water.
It's fine.
All right. We got another question that came in. Joel with another donation tonight. Thank you so much. This is the second one. He just dropped another 20. He said, why did Eddie Hernandez stay close to Albert after he knocked him out at an Xmas party? He was with him on the trip to New York for an officer's funeral on 129. I heard he attended the funeral recently with him, another funeral. What do you think?
Wow. I mean, you know, the Eddie Hernandez story is one of the main stories out there, you know. I don't know why. I mean, you know, the story is Brian punched this kid out. There's also another story that Brian, you know, there's two things about Brian, right? He'll go after you and he'll go after your wife or your girlfriend, right? I think Eddie got he got both ends of it. I don't know.
Now,
I have no
how do
idea.
you know this? You just hearing this from other cops or like
20
how
different people, 20 different
Yeah.
people would tell me, all right?
Yeah.
People very close to Brian told me, very close. There's a firefighter that almost lost his life at J.J. Foley's, where Brian hit him over the head with a beer bottle. One of the who witnessed it told me they thought before the poor firefighter hit the ground, they thought he was dead. That's how bad that was. And nothing happened to the kid. I think he may have been sent up to some place to dry out. But those stories are famous. So to think, this is the thing, to think that something like this could not happen in his home is ridiculous. Here are the precipitants, all day drinking, right? Maybe John came in with a hair across his ass. Maybe they were fighting in the car. Who knows? I don't know. But something, if you go with the theory, something lit, you know, it doesn't take much for a guy like that. You could just look at the guy wrong. He's going to be on you. That's it. You know, I don't think they knew each other much. I think they met each other maybe a couple weeks prior to this. So I don't think there was any bad blood. Something, listen, testosterone and booze. That's what it takes. That's all it takes.
There's another question that came in from Suzanne. She's just donated $10 too. She says, "Who does Sean think will be arrested?" My guess is Brian, Colin, Jen, Proctor, Tully, Yuri. Who else?
Anybody who's in that house is free game. Anybody who did nothing to save Brian, to talk, anybody who went to the grand jury, to the state grand jury and testified they saw nothing, they're all free game. Proctor, definitely. Tully, Yuri, of course. Absolutely.
People are also asking about the judge, Bev Canoni. She seems not to be pro defense, that's for sure. Do you think that there's any thought, like the people have been saying that they think that she's in on it? What do you think? Do you think she's just a judge, or do you think there could be some truth to that?
Well, she's not very nice to the defense. I can tell you that. Listen, she has to. I mean, she has to know something's going on, right? I mean, Jackson in open court said that there was a federal investigation into this case. He gave that up several hearings ago. She reads the paper. She could see the evidence. She probably sees us. She knows, people know what's going on. So I don't know. Like I said, I just want to keep it to what feel. You know.
Yeah. Let me ask you.
I do know one thing. If the FBI did have wiretaps, as it was purported, on Morrissey's cell phone and office phone, think about who calls, the ability to call directly to the DA, and who was he calling. This is how they get their information. Listen, I worked wiretaps. This is how it goes. And it's amazing. People just don't realize how bad it is when you're on that phone and you think no one's listening to your calls. I mean, I'm guilty myself, but this is how it is. And when you're cocky and you think you're above the law, it gets worse. It gets worse.
We had another donation come in. Let me read that one. I gotta scroll down now. Let's not add up. M. Grimm says, "Do you think the feds will wait till the case is dismissed against Karen before they hand out indictments?" And I'd like to add on to that, because the feds released all this, TUI information, but they basically said it can't be released to the public. It's pretty much what I understand of it, right?
Yeah. So, okay, here's the rules of engagement. Okay. They cannot provide the actual physical documents to anybody. This is the strict protective order. They can talk generally about it, like Canon said today. I mean, well, you can talk generally about it. She had a message from the Deputy Attorney General out of DC. That's huge, right? So, so will they wait till the case is dismissed? It depends. It all depends on where they're at in their investigation. All right. My thing is, I said this today on Dylan's show. I believe this is the O'Keefe case is just a small portion of their case. It could be Birchmore. It could be political corruption. I mean, public corruption. There could be many tentacles, right? You just don't know where they're at, and time is always good for a Fed. Time is great, because in a conspiracy, you have 5 years to indict based on the last provable overt act. That's a lifetime for a federal investigator.
5 years. Yeah.
A lot of this has to do with conspiracy.
I'm glad you brought up political corruption, because I one of the ones everyone talks about, Birchmore, a lot, not enough probably, but one that doesn't really get talked about at all is the state senator, the Joyce guy, who came under some corruption that basically killed himself, right?
That's right. And he
So
spent a lot of time in Canton.
yeah, and he was very powerful. I remember him from lobbying for, different issues, especially cannabis. He was a very powerful guy.
Right.
So I wonder, but also, with this Fed question, something that occurred to me. There seems like, they went after Turtle Boy and they went after Karen Reed about their conspiring and talking to each other and about the evidence that got leaked. But it seems to me that the Commonwealth has been leaking information to some of these folks on Twitter that we all
Absolutely.
know. Do you think the feds are actually like looking to see if any of their information gets leaked and maybe throwing some of
Well,
those
they'll
people in
know.
jail if it gets leaked? What do you think?
They'll know if they'll know if this information gets leaked. They will know. All right. But think about it, right? What if there's a lot of information about the DA, right? How's that going to impact Adam Lally? Because the DA is going to know. He's going to know, right? And they may be cute enough to just keep it to the investigators, to the investigators. I mean, that's, they're not going to give up the whole farm, right? They're going to give enough to show that Karen is not responsible for John's death. That's it. And if she's not responsible, who is? All right. Who is? I mean, that's your next question. If she's not responsible, who is? They know who it is. The defense knows. I can tell you right now, the way Karen was laughing was not because of her birthday. She knows. She's always known, but she knows for sure now. No doubt.
We got a lot of viewers right now, over 1,100.
You're kidding me. Wow. Jesus.
You're a popular guy. Every time we come on,
I
we
don't know
like
why,
crush it.
man. I don't know why.
They
just
love
me.
listening to you.
I'm just me. I'm a guy in Naples. That's all I am. The old guy in Naples.
I love I love your Twitter when you go off on Twitter.
Oh man.
It's amazing. Recently you talked another psyops. I love the way
Yeah.
you do the psyops. You talked about how you throw shit out there and then you disappeared for a while.
Yeah.
And then you came back and you were
They ask,
wiping them out and then you blocked them all.
See, that's the thing, listen, who else is out front, right? I mean, like I guess Aiden said the other night, he says, let Sean do it, which is fine, right? So, so when I left Facebook, because that became very toxic, but I have to say, even though it's crazy on Twitter, you're your own guy. You stand by what you say. You don't have to worry about a moderator or an admin person or whatever. Oh, you shouldn't have said that or blah blah. Hey, you stand by what you write. So I figured out, said, holy shit, these people are like, they're crazy. And they're coming at me. They're doing this, but they don't back off. They hang on my words, right? And there's a story I want to tell you, but I can't do it now because I'll give it up. But so I said, fine. And as luck would have it, I did, because of my dad, his death. I did get off of it, and it was time. It's always good to take a break. But where's Sean? Where's this? Where's the guy down south?
Oh,
and
isn't
I
it
kept seeing
crazy?
it. So I said, okay. And when I came back the second time, I just let him have it. I said, okay, you want to know? You want me? Here I am. And I came back with crazy stuff, and it kind of like it filled them. They really did. Oh, he's back. Let's attack him. Let's get him. This, Joe, Rogue. He was hitting me. Hey, all this stuff. And then
it's so funny because they think that they're destroying you, and actually what they're doing is lifting you. You get more followers that way,
right? And it's funny because they're easy. They really are easy. So then I get sick. Right, I'm sick as a dog.
You got COVID.
As a matter of fact, the last 20 minutes on Melanie's show, I was dying. I said,
right.
And she gave an opening. Well, you want last comments? I said, yes, last comments. And I was sick. I was down. And they're going, oh, where's Sean again? Where's Sean? Where's Sean? Right. And someone said, oh, he's over here. They must think I'm like 20 different people. I'm Audrey. They say I'm Audrey. There she is.
Yeah.
I'm so-and-so. Oh, Danny Danny Aiello, whatever his name is. I'm someone else. And when I was up the other day, they had me at the Norfolk County DA's office. I never went there. They had me down somewhere. There was Sean sightings everywhere.
Everywhere.
So
Sean is everywhere. He's
Here we
watching.
go.
He's
This
in
is
the
beautiful.
woods behind your house right now.
Right. So this is beautiful. So I said, this is the time I pulled the plug. And on Sunday, I went down. I picked up one guy that had a lot of followers. I just went, talk about the bitch button. I went down, bitch button, bitch button. I
Locked them all.
blocked them all. So
Oh,
my
God.
friend,
They're all jonesing.
the crime and wine girl goes, what did you block us for? I said, what do you think? You don't like me. So why should you, what do you need me for? So anyways, it was a psyops. And now they're going crazy because we're getting to the end. Listen, I can pick them off left and right. I left a couple guys up because I like them. Even though, listen, I like Kenny Duke. Nothing wrong with that kid.
Yeah.
It's just that his brother won't engage me.
I gotta say, I don't mind Kenny Dougal, but
No,
I'm holding something. I'm not gonna say it, but whatever. I'm gonna get over it.
No, listen, I mean, my thing was from the very beginning. I mean, I could talk to like-minded people all day long. What I really wanted was a guy like Carl Dougal to debate me. He's a Boston police detective, all right? I don't know what general detective. He's a detective. He investigates. He tries to find criminals.
But he won't do it though, right?
He won't do it.
Yeah, I see that.
I asked him the other day, just tell me, just engage with me. I don't care if we're completely off base. I'd rather that than, just everyone say, yeah, Sean. Yeah, very good. I want a guy like him, but that's how
I would
we
have
are.
him on. I would host that debate. Kyle Dougal versus Sean McDonough. I'll host it. I'll be fair too.
It wouldn't be crazy. It would not be crazy.
No,
right?
it wouldn't be.
Listen,
I don't know why they don't.
They're coming at me. Listen, I asked what I believe was a very valid question. Okay. Kevin didn't like it. The family evidently didn't like it because this is how they could get me. Right. So as you know, we all saw the video of Karen backing into John's car. Right. Now, I went to several high-end dealerships and body shops down here, show them that video, right? And they said, absolutely no doubt, there was definitely transfer evidence. Like you have here it is, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. She has a tank, 6,500 pounds going into a 4,500 pound stationary vehicle, okay? My wife just got into an accident. She was the second car at a red light, stationary. She's going to make a left-hand turn. She's just waiting there, doing what she does. A car coming the opposite direction, jumps the median, hits her head on. Her car was like an accordion, all right? It's force against force, but this guy had the speed. Well, she had the weight into us. There was definitely damage, all right? Now, you would think in a high-profile case like this that everything would have been investigated in a timely fashion. They took 6 days to check that car out. 6 days. That's ludicrous. And I asked that question. Oh, he's attacking the family. Oh, he thinks the family's complicit. Okay, well, the car had no damage 6 days after the 29th. We saw it at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was hit. Every guy I spoke to said, no doubt that car had something on it, something. They come back 6 days. Now, listen, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if, maybe they took advantage of their grief, right? Listen, if they're going to smash a light on the suspect's car, right? They did. We know they did. Well, what are they going to do to the person they can control, right? Listen, this is a loose end. We can't show that this car had damage because it's going to ruin our theory. This is what it is. Listen, you go down that road.
You go down that road. They always get you. Yeah.
You actually don't think that his DNA was put on there by them? Absolutely. You don't think they crushed up all that tail light they kept in the garage and had the clothes forever. I'm going to say it again. This is a duck. It's quacking. It's been quacking for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So,
I mean, there's so many tells to me. Like I was a, not really, but I used to write a lot, journalist. Every
right.
week I do a column covering the cannabis space for probably like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. I did it every week. And we would go through that. I would go through it and then my editor would, but I would try to be perfect so he didn't have to correct it. But spelling of names to make sure that every name is spelled correctly.
Jesus.
We do that. And if I could do that as just like a guy who wasn't even really being paid much, like, or anything to do a weekly column, I would think the state police would take that very seriously. And to have,
Oh my God.
you would never find an article of mine where every name was spelled incorrectly.
No.
You'd be lucky if you found like one name spelled incorrectly out of like every 10 or 15 articles. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, it could happen, but it's not like every name. That would never happen. So that's one of the tells to me. We got some other questions though that I want to get into.
Sure.
People are kicking in money tonight. Wendy, since 1999, she says, talk to us about, I want to ask about this. This is a good one. Talk to us about extraordinary government misconduct that the defense mentioned today. What do you think Jackson meant with that statement?
Well, that was a biggie too. I mean, he went from I think it was outrageous. Well, they went from sanctions, right, and disqualification to extraordinary government misconduct. Right. This obviously this is going to be the supplemental that Yannetti is going to add to that 49-page sanctions motion. Right. Whatever they picked up has now become extraordinary government misconduct. That goes to the heart of the Commonwealth. There's no way to misinterpret this. You don't think, Michael, Lally's not stupid. You don't think Lally doesn't know what was done? I said this early on in that he acts like he has a gun to his head because I don't think he believes a word he's saying. And as the time goes on, his body, today I watched his shoulders. His shoulders were all humped over, sitting at the chair. He looked horrible. He looked like he lost his best friend today. God knows what he found out today before he came in. He was late for his own hearing.
Yeah, I bet he was. I heard he's a smoker. I found out that today. I bet he was smoking a lot of cigarettes today, which you do when you're stressful.
Yeah.
Some more questions. We've got a lot of questions coming in.
Sure.
Leah, he sent $20. She says, do you think people lied at the federal grand jury or did they get nervous and spill the beans?
Well, most of the people that were hauled into the grand jury had a record already. They testified in the state grand jury. Okay. Now, when those people were called into the grand jury, the feds had all the answers. They wanted those people to lie. Of course they did. Right. Yeah, I believe they lied and I believe they were cautioned. And I believe a lot of this 3,100 pages deals exactly with that. Yes, Leah. Lee.
Yeah,
Lele.
I'm not sure.
Right. Yes,
Leah,
I do.
Leah.
Oh, I do think people got nervous and did spill the beans. And another thing we should talk about too, Mike, is what is a proffer agreement?
I've heard that in the Tupac case. The killer got the alleged shooter for the Tupac got a proffer and then screwed it up or something. Tell us what a proffer is. People don't know.
So a proffer agreement is a tool. It's a timeout. All right. So let's speculate. Let's say we have Colin, right? They bring Colin in. Whoever Colin's attorney is says, listen, my client would like to make a proffer, right? And the attorney will say, the U.S. attorney says, sure, let's sit down and get a couple of agents. And what they'll do, they'll write up a document. So this is a proffer agreement between Colin and Albert and the United States government. Anything you say to us today, all right, will be not used against you. Okay. However, if we find out that you lied to us, then we can tear this up and use anything against you. Do you understand? Yes. Are you willing to talk to us now and tell us the truth? Yes. All right. So he sits down, complete immunity for this, however time it takes. And of course, the FBI agent said, okay, the first thing they'll say is, when did you leave that house? They know. They know the answer.
They know if he's lying. Yeah.
They know.
They're going to ask
and
questions that they know that whether he's telling the truth or not.
right. And they're constantly assessing. You look at his eyes, you look at the mannerisms, right? A lot of people get nervous anyways, but once you get them calmed down, I was always taught, you get a person to say yes 7 times, the next question you say, they're going to say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So you give them
sales. I did a lot of sales. That's sales right there.
Right.
You ask them
And
5 questions that anyone would say yes
right.
to, and the 6th one is to ask them for their money. Like,
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that's how a proffer works. Now, in a case where let's take Steve Scanlon, right? All right. He gets a proffer, right? Like I said, this is speculation, right? He gives up the whole story. He tells who told him. He says who I spoke to after that. He says this, he says that. He becomes a witness for them, right? And he's protected, right? I don't think he had anything to worry about, but maybe he didn't do his due diligence as an officer of the court and come forward. But he did. He really did come forward. He just backed off. But this is how a proffer works. And then after that you have a cooperation agreement. Now, that's the next step. When you get into an agreement with the government to cooperate, well, then you're cooperating to testify. Maybe wear a wire, right? Maybe make phone calls, maybe take pictures, maybe bring documents, anything. And you're protected under that. And then the last thing is the plea agreement, where you agree to plead guilty to a certain crime to be named later that you will plead to, and all your cooperation will be made known to the sentencing judge, so that when it's time, we can tell the judge all your cooperation and he can get you out of the mandatory sentencing guidelines. So say you're looking at 8 to 12 years, the judge has to give you that range unless you have a Rule 35. The Rule 35 in federal government is that the government will vouch for you and say, okay, Mr. So-and-so did A, B, C, and D, right? And because of that, he gave us substantial assistance. That's the only way a federal judge can depart downward from the sentencing guidelines. And it's gold. A Rule 35 is incredible. So that's how it works. And they'll talk to anyone. Brian Albert, they'll talk to Brian. So
well, hopefully some of them are talking. We got some more donations. People are kicking in tonight. I think it's because of Sean. Thank you so much, Sean, for helping us tonight. Chrissy Mel gave $9.99. Audrey Presti gave us $20.
Wow.
And we got another question here. This is a good one. It's from Sully P. He says, do you think the court date will be extended due to the new documents?
Okay, so I hate saying this. So our next date, the next big date that they're all going to hold me to, Jules and Rogie, the next date. Huh? The next date is the next date. I don't have any control over the next date. The next date is March 12th. This is when the big bombs are going to drop again. Who knows? Sully, absolutely. They're going to have to extend. There's no way they can get this trial done in April. There's no way.
You're going to have to go through 300,000 pages. Yeah.
Somehow I think that you're going to hear Lally or somebody get up and say, in the interest of justice, and based on newly acquired evidence, the Commonwealth is moving to dismiss all charges with prejudice, because that will be the deal against Karen Reed. That's the home run. And then God knows what happens after that. They don't have to move at all. Karen's free, but I guarantee the people responsible for John will be held accountable. There is absolutely no way that they can't be held accountable, because if she didn't do it, the feds know who did. And that's it. This is an easy one. It was always easy. Just that, like Aiden says, they had all the guns. I used to have the guns. I was on that side.
Half Hammer says, did the feds hand the exact same info to both sides, or do they give one side more or less info than others by chance?
No, Half Hammer, it was duplicated. They gave exactly the same amount of paperwork to Lally as they did to Jackson. Same exact thing.
And I want to thank Drew for sending 99 cents. Thank you, Drew Manchu. He also sent another $1.99, and he said, Rogue wants to call in to debate Sean.
Come on, let's put it on. I don't care.
We should do it. Should we put up the phone
Absolutely.
number?
Let him call in. Jesus.
All right. We'll put up the phone number in a second.
Sure.
Another question came in from Cynthia for $10, $9.99. She says, Sean, what do you know about Colin Albert?
I don't know anything about the kid. All I know is that he's got some serious issues. That's it.
He went to Bridgewater State College and played football. I know a lot of
evidently he's going back.
He is?
Evidently. That's what I heard. According to Kevin, he's going back.
Going to be interested in over there at Bridgewater State. Yeah. That is my alma. That's where I went to college, by the way, people.
Yeah. My good friend, matter of fact, the guy who got me into this case was a Bridgewater alum.
What is the name? What is the name?
His name?
Yeah.
His name is Billy.
Billy.
The Canton guys who know me know exactly.
Right.
He's kind of timid. He doesn't want to give it up.
Okay,
yet.
I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Yeah.
No, he's listening. Yeah. He was at the courthouse today, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, we got the Galera. Look at that. What's up, Will?
The Galera's coming? What's he got?
The Galera's in, man.
Oh, there he is. Sup, fellas?
Sup?
What's up to Will the Galera? He gave me some good advice. I gotta admit. I got mad at Will for a second, but he gave me good advice, actually. Public good advice.
Yeah. Listen, it's okay to stray and come back. And listen, we all do it.
I like the Galera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need a break too.
Exactly.
That's really what I needed, was just a break.
Right.
I've been on social media for too many years, and just to take a few weeks off, and it's been a stressful time. The callers, the commenters commented about, have you gotten pushback and stress? I have. The amount of shit that's come at me, I've never experienced before in my life. Like, I've never had so many people making videos and attacking, and I don't even want to get into it, because if you talk about it, it's like it's letting people, they think it affects you and that it's working. It doesn't work. Like, for me, I don't really give a fuck at this point. I don't. But it was an adjustment. Definitely an adjustment.
I do have some breaking news.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll keep this name private, but it looks like the state police are knocking on doors, of people who sent nasty messages to witnesses in the case, whether it was Facebook or Twitter. And they're asking, did you send this message? And the people are going to say, yes, I did. The interesting follow-up question is, did anyone make you send the message? So that means they are not off Aiden's case, because I think they're basically still looking to see if Aiden was influencing people to intimidate. This was today, so they're still looking for people. Yeah, pretty.
I mean, I would give people the advice. What, if they come to my house, number one, video's rolling. Number two, call my lawyer.
Right. Yeah.
I got a guy that you can talk to. His name's John Morris. He's my attorney.
Right. But this is the thing. My thing is, why aren't you looking for that Ford Edge?
Yeah.
You heard it here. They're still scratching. They're still scratching. And this person has nothing to do nothing to do. Just, one of these things where
They're trying
you
to
get
scare
caught up.
people too. Yeah. Mm.
True. State police. I mean, it's crazy. That's real, Will. That is real.
Yeah.
That is
Will
as
said, yeah,
real as
that
it
could be
gets.
real. What? I will
No, it's
say, I believe it. I believe it is very real because I
I
just
can tell
what
you
I've
right now.
experienced and the way that they came at me.
Yeah. No, this is Will. This is as real as it gets. Trust me. I put my hands in the fire in this one. Hey, they're coming down. I know they're coming down. Yeah, that's I don't care. They can come down. They can come down. So.
Oh, I think Rogue's in the comments tonight. You know what? Let's
Oh,
throw up
Rogie,
the phone number. We
Rogie's
don't
been
want
here.
anyone to call but the Rogue right now.
He won't call. I know he won't call.
Let's see. Let's
I'll
see if the
answer.
Rogue. Yeah.
We've talked before. We've talked. I have some questions for him also.
But I got to turn on the phone line. I'm putting it on the screen in a second, but I want to. I'm sure you have some more comments you want to make, Sean, while I'm trying to set up the phones.
Sure. Let's see.
Let's see how tough Rogue is. Let's see if he actually has the balls to call in.
He's not that guy. He's not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's not that guy. He may have lived in Rosendale or Hyde Park. I don't know what the fuck he's just not
Rosendale seems kind of soft to me. I've hung out there and it seemed like Cambridge, except a little like not as nice, but not like,
There's tough guys everywhere. He's just not that guy. He's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
that guy. I'm telling you. You know that, Mike. Come on.
Yeah. Yep. There are tough guys everywhere.
How quick do you think you get a half Nelson on him?
Oh, probably 2 seconds.
There you go.
Kidding. More like a lateral drop, and that'll be it.
Jeez.
Doesn't matter how big they are either. My friends at Bridgewater, they still. I'm not going to say his name because he's probably watching. But every time we talk, they remember what you did to JJ, because no one believed it. Like no one believed I could do it. Like look like a skinny guy, big JJ, big JJ. You know what happened to JJ? It was like Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. When Hulk Hogan lifts him. Yeah.
Jesus.
JJ was off his feet. JJ didn't know what to do. They're still talking about it. So, yeah, I'm sure. But I don't act like that. I don't act like a tough guy. You know why? Because I know there's always another guy out there. There's always who could kick your ass. Like, if there's a guy that's as well-trained as I am, who's JJ size, I would have got my ass kicked that day. But JJ didn't know what he was doing, like most people, though.
To Heidi Costa, no, I do not. I do not believe that. I think everything is very well.
What is she asking?
Did she think that anyone will get unalived? I love that. Unalived. No, I do not believe that.
You know why they say that now? You know why they say that?
You get done.
Yeah, you get dinged on the social media, on the YouTube. We're probably dinged already. You've said a few things that will definitely ding us.
I hope I don't. I mean, Christ.
I hate it. I hate that they censor every word. It's so ridiculous. And
wow.
Oh, here's one. This is I don't know. Is this a troll comment? Are they paying to troll me, or is this someone that actually likes me?
Where's this?
He said, Sean, could you lend Mike a razor to shave that nest on his face? Dude, I got plenty of money for razors.
Yeah.
Do I have the time and energy?
Right.
I'm lazy, dude. I walk 1 million dogs a day. Last thing I want to do is come home and shave or get up in the morning. I'm just
right.
I don't know. If I was retired, I would shave. And like my dog walking too. Like the beauty of dog walking is no one judges you on the way you look. Yeah. You're supposed to look like a bum. You're a dog walker. I love it.
Suzanne, I'll meet you.
I'm going to ask you. What do you think? Do you think this guy likes me, or he's trolling me like right now?
I think he like. Look, he gave you $5. Come on.
He did. He gave me $5. That's what I'm saying. I love when the trolls give us money to read the comments. I think that's the best shit ever.
It's not a dig. I mean, you could probably say something else, right?
It's a nest. It is a nest. My girlfriend's probably upstairs laughing her ass off. Like, I told you should have shaved that thing. I love
another thing I talked about today, Jennifer Coffindaffer came back again, made her very bad.
Boy.
She said today and I got the clip. I just couldn't get it out on time. She said today in court TV that the hair on the bumper came back to John O'Keefe. It's a bull-faced lie. This is what these people do. Her credibility is going to be blown up like you wouldn't believe.
So we got the number up, and we got I think it's working.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to call in, Rogue. We got the number on the screen. It's at the bottom of the screen. 978. We don't want anyone else to call right now except for Rogue. 978-560-3155. You talk a lot of shit online.
I've talked to Rogie before. I have.
Yeah, I want to hear from him. He doesn't like me.
He's got a weird voice. He really does. Kind of like very abbreviated. Hello.
Oh boy. One of them. I know exactly what you mean. How many minutes should we give him exclusively to call in before we actually take on the call?
Listen, Rogue and I had our thing. I don't hold anything against. I really don't. I don't hold anything against him. I don't. I mean, he believes. Listen, he was Team Karen, big time. I'm talking main store, big time. I don't know how they got to him. I don't know how they convinced him. I know he calls Tully a lot. I called him one time. He said, "Sean, please don't give up that information." He was all concerned about some kind of information that I was going to talk about. And he says, where's Star?
Yeah, they want to see your dog.
She's sound asleep. She's my baby. No. So he calls me, right? This is back when I guess I was on Facebook. He goes, "Sean, can you call me?" I go, "Yeah." Hey, how you doing? What's going on? It's good. I said, "Hey, if you talk to our friend is Natalie. Come on." No, I haven't really talked to her. She said, "But listen, someone told me I have to call Tully." I go, "Why?" He goes, "I don't know." Grab the Gibson. Yeah, that's my baby too. He says, "Someone told me I should call Tully. What do you think I should do?" I said, I mean, if you want to call him, call him. He's, "Yeah, so I'm going to call him." Then he tells me, "Yeah, I called him, and he's a nice guy." He says that, "I'll answer any of your questions." So I guess he asked Tully, "Do you got her going back to the residence before McCabe's or anything?" And Tully's answer to him, according to Rogue at the time, and I think Rogue had already flipped to the other side because he was basically playing. He goes, "No, but they just lost her GPS for like a minute and a half." I go, "Well, Jesus, that's nothing. A minute and a half." So listen, I mean,
so we'll stop right there, though. Don't you think this is strange that a guy like Rogue is talking to the state police, like random citizens?
Well, this is the thing. I think it was a package deal. I think Natalie was able to convince him and whoever to, come on Team Paul and Carl. She told me specifically that she was talking to friends of John, and she said Carl and Paul and other friends. And one of our last conversations, she said, "Oh, and Kate and the Alberts have been so nice to me." See, this is the whole thing with Natalie. When I found out about her and Rogie doing this stupid Facebook page about, I mean, it was bad, very bad. So I kind of, I don't know. I was upset with her because a lot of things happened. But anyways, so she just wanted to be accepted, right? And they did. But I'll tell you right now, they're going to find out who she is. They are going to find out. So, and not that she's a bad person, but she did the wrong thing. I mean, come on. How do you be the middle person for the biggest case of the century? It was her. She was the middle between Karen and Aiden. And now she freaks and goes head over heels to the other side. It's crazy.
Crazy.
But no
we
doubt.
We actually did have a call, but
wow. Okay.
What happens is my system sometimes doesn't pick them up. And it's weird. Like we picked up the call, it shows it worked, but it doesn't. And I don't understand why it does that. So I shut down the phone and started it back up. I already did that. And now we're going to see if we can try it again. You've done this rodeo with me before, haven't you?
Oh, I have. But I don't
know why the Bluetooth does that.
Audrey just said, he's a nobody. He really is. He's a nobody. We don't need to give him attention. But
Let's
anyway,
see who was calling. I'm
Okay.
curious now if this was actually real. We'll be quick with him if it is.
hello. Hello.
Now they're not answering because it's coming back from a different number.
Oh yeah.
It might not even be Rogue. It could be someone else. Yeah, they're not answering. But you know what?
Yeah.
Our phone lines are open. Anyone can call in now. Let's just
Wow.
do that. 978-560-3155. If you have a question for Sean, this is your moment to do it. Call in.
Gene from Dot's going to call in.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
There she is.
Yo, we
There
got
she
someone
is.
else. No, we got someone else that
Oh,
I'm glad he's the first call. It's a he. Well, hey, sir, why don't you introduce yourself?
It's not that often people are happy to hear my voice.
You know who this is, Sean?
I do not.
It's our boy.
Sean, hello, Sean.
Who is this?
He created the video for tonight, the intro video.
It's John.
Oh, John. Jesus, you sound so different, my friend.
So I just wanted to say, they thought they were so proud of themselves for trying to out me on Twitter, and I'm like, it was just a goofy name. It wasn't like fake. Everybody knew who I was.
I don't even know who you are on Twitter. You're on Twitter?
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
But I just got such a kick that they thought they were so happy with themselves.
The
and I'm
trolls.
like, all right, well, they're like, oh, he makes all these memes. I'm like, all right, yeah, so I do. I have a little fun, and I make some memes. And now that you guys clearly show that you don't like it, I'm gonna make more.
Let me
There you
ask you
go.
something, because you've gotten some attacks, obviously, too.
Oh, nonstop.
Does it bother you at all, or does it make you want to do it more?
It makes me want to do it more.
Of course.
It all started with that one picture. Too. I mean, I was barely doing everything and then I'm like, okay, you guys want to push me? Well, fine. I'm gonna have fun too. I really do want to know. Do you think Jen will put me on the visitation list?
You never know.
She might.
I think she seems to the visitor. I don't think they want my postcards.
Jeez. Yeah,
She seems
John.
to like your so like
John's
some of
memes
your
are the
shirtless
best.
stuff.
I just want to say you guys are doing an awesome job. You made my night again. I love watching all this stuff. I mean, I don't even watch regular TV anymore. It's just this stuff.
It's amazing. It really is.
I love that you called. Thank you for the video too, John. It was awesome.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.
Make some great videos. He really did.
I love that.
I talk to John every day. I couldn't recognize his voice until he started speaking. He's a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
He's a monster too, man. That guy's a big dude. Big dude.
He is. I know. I didn't realize how big he is.
Yeah.
You're like 6'2". How tall is he? Like 6'3", 6'4"?
He's got to be 6'3", 6'4" at least. At least. He's a monster.
Imagine him in a hockey skates.
Oh my God. Imagine going to the boards with him. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm only 5'10", so I mean, I'm average. I'm an average height. Yeah. All right. Who's on the? We got another call. Hey, who's on the line?
Hello.
Hi. Who's this?
Brett.
What's up? What do you got for us?
Oh, I'm just wondering if Sean has any more info on the sledgehammer incident in the shed, and also if there's any worry. No.
Well, I mean, listen, we got some very good information back in the summer. Okay, we knew that. I don't have all the names, right? But we do know that the kid, right, the victim, was actually selling oxys, right, to the Zavarian brother high school people, right, and evidently it got back to everyone we know, right, and word was sent out to take this kid out. So because he crossed over into this person's territory, okay, I'm saving this one because I know exactly what happened, right. Oh, anyways, the kid got sledgehammered, right? So both fathers the victim and the father of the person who did it found the kid all bloodied up, and the Canton police were called, right? And they said, well, it's kind of like a wash, because your son was selling drugs and this kid didn't like drug dealers. That's how they kind of washed it, right? So the family of the victim did move out to San Diego. It wasn't because of the case, but there was a lot of threats made, and that's still in the works. We have not forgot about that. I'm saving that just for someday. I'm saving it. Trust me.
You got a
It'd be
comment
great
on
for
my.
it'd be great for a deposition. Trust me on that one.
I'm looking forward to reading that. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we got a comment about my 5'10" comment. He said 5'10" was average in 1800. No, I would say it was average when I was a kid, which is almost 1800, right?
No,
I
think
who,
5'9".
who's on the phone?
This is Patty. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Patty? What do you got for Sean McDonough, our guest tonight?
My big question is, do you think that organized crime is at all involved in this scenario, this case?
That's a good question, Patty. So you have crime that's organized, right? Now, it's not the traditional organized crime like the Cosa Nostra, right? But yeah, I do believe that, there's allegations that a couple of guys in this case had some side hustles, right? Using their daytime equipment to get information on other politicians. Like I said, there's a lot of information that I believe the FBI has hooked into. And listen, I know what these dirt boxes are like. I know what triggerfish and God, I forget the other, whatever the new, like we used to use triggerfish. It was great. Get into a city, you plug in the number, you're on the phone. You need warrants to do that. Overseas, you didn't need a warrant. That's one thing about the CIA, right? They say it's great. We don't have to worry about that pesky little thing called the U.S. Constitution. They can do it all, and we do too overseas, because we don't have to abide by U.S. Constitution. We have to get warrants, right? Well, think about that. You take a tool that you have a box that you go out and you plug in a number, and you are on their phone. You're listening to that. That's powerful stuff. So yeah, it's organized and it's criminal behavior. So technically, Patty, you're right, but it's not. You're not talking like mafia or the Colombian cartels. It's organized and it's criminal. So yes, I do believe that.
What do you think,
Okay,
Patty?
thanks.
So, is that Patty still on there? Yeah.
Well, it's still me. It's just I have heard a lot of talking the last few weeks about Brian Albert and things that his side hustle, what he's into.
What'd you hear? Tell me.
I heard that. I will tell you exactly what I heard. I heard repeatedly from multiple people that he took over for Whitey Bulger.
Well, I don't think
Doesn't
Kevin
that
Weeks.
sound like
I
the
don't
Ferrella?
believe Kevin Weeks would allow that. Let's face it. There's a great style. I won't tell it, but let's face it. You're not going to get a guy from Canton taking over a job from anybody in South Boston. That I can tell you. All right. I got a great story, but I got a great story about Brian Albert when he was first a cop, but I'll just leave that alone. No way. There's zero possibility. No way. If anything, he's involved in some crazy MMA stuff and whatever. No, there's no way. No way at all. I just don't see that. But Patty, anything's possible. You think Kevin Weeks would allow that? There's no way Kevin Weeks would allow that. No way. And Kevin Weeks is a smart guy.
I just didn't know with his access to the equipment that Boston police have, if it would have made him more desirable.
So you did hear about the equipment, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So
Yes, I did.
let's not talk about that. What would be more, that type of stuff is more for politicians to get the edge on their competition. That's more what I'm thinking,
Wow.
you know,
That's a good point.
you know, I mean, and then, you know, you're talking about guys cheating on their wives, you know, all this stuff can be collected. And
Blackmail.
this is how you get the black book, you know. You think about, you know, guys who may have committed, you know, sexual assaults, and sexual assaults were covered up for who knows. It runs the gambit. But, you know, we're going to find out one way or the other. I do believe, I said this in my prediction, the FBI is going to make a massive sweep in this whole thing. It will be massive, I believe. Stingray, there you go. Who said that? The band.
Yeah.
Stingray.
I want to ask more about that too. Thank you for calling, Patty.
Yeah, my day was. All right, Patty. Thank you, Patty. See what I'm saying? All right.
The
So,
Stingray. Let me ask you this,
but this is a great
feds,
example.
Yeah, the feds gave local police stingrays, and they didn't disclose them. Apparently, in some cases, we've been finding out. Massachusetts. Have you heard about that?
No, not really. But you still need a warrant. You still need paper to go up and stuff. But see, I just want to before.
But they were let me just they were doing
Yeah.
like the parallel construction. That's what the a lot of the allegations have been locally, is that they were using these, like you said, kind of the spy on people and then find out information and then hide it. And then like they'd
Yeah.
pull over someone and
Sure.
taillight was out, and then they find the drugs, and they would never disclose the stingray.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy stuff going on.
No, you know, getting into the wrong hands. That's the problem. And if he he was the sergeant of the unit, right? So he had complete reign. I don't know who I don't think he responded to a lieutenant or a captain, but that was a specialized unit. You know, like Chicago PD, you got that group, the intelligence group, they kind of on their own. Well, that's kind of like how
Right.
Brian was, you know, I love that show. But getting back to Patty real quick. So this is a classic example where I would get information. Patty told me the same exact information that I've heard from several sources, you know? So like I said, I mean, if you keep hearing it enough, and like they always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I do believe there was things that were going on. Listen, someone called a favor in. Someone did.
We got another caller on the line. Let's see who's calling. Who's this?
What's going on, fellas? How are you?
Good. How you doing? Who
Good.
is calling in?
Do you guys want to rumble with the Rogie Rogue?
Oh, is this the Rogue?
That's not him. That's not him. I know Rogie.
Yeah.
So, Sean, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I just want
Sure.
you to answer the questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, that's great.
And this is-
Wait. You're already pissing me off. I just muted you.
What's his
muted
name?
you. All right, I'm gonna hang up on that guy. I just don't like the guy. I asked him his name, and then
Yeah, you won't get it?
they tried to take over my show. Fuck
Oh,
you,
yeah.
buddy. Like,
That's right.
seriously, you're rude. You don't be rude to the host. End of
That's true.
story.
It's true.
My show. I don't have to take any calls. Like
You
he
use
used
the
like
bitch
I'm
button.
gonna.
You
Yeah.
use the bitch button. I like
And
that.
especially when I got a shitload of people who want to call. Is he?
True.
Oh, it's the same guy. What's your name?
Why'd you hang up?
What's your name?
What do you mean? This is Rogue.
No, you know what? You're just a clown. I'm gonna hang up on you, and we don't have to take calls today. How's that? You're rude to me.
I can prove it right now.
Is this the Rogue? What do you
This
think?
is the Rogue.
What do you think, Sean?
So listen, I got rules when I'm on here. You guys understand?
Well, I want to ask you your name. You're freaking
I got
rude to me.
rules.
You know what? I'm done with you already. You're just a dick.
Sean,
Yeah. Let him ask one question.
I just hung up on him. You know
All
what?
right. Fuck him.
When you're rude to me, you don't get time on my show. Like I wanted you to call in, but you're rude. Like no one wants to hear a rude dick. Be nice to me, giving you a play. We got
Platform.
1,400 people listening,
Jesus.
and you're a dick to me. I don't need to take your call, Rogue.
Rogue
That's it.
rules. He's got
Yeah.
rules, right? He's got rules.
Yeah, he's got rules. Like,
all of a
you know,
sudden. All of a
yeah,
sudden.
he's a real
Yeah.
tough guy. Rogue, you know, ugh.
He's
I
not
want
that
to knock the guy out right now. I mean, just rude.
clown. He's a clown.
Love your Florida order show. Need a link. So now I'm getting the feedback on my phone too, which is weird. But or is that you, Sean? I don't know.
I don't know.
That guy,
I don't know what the hell's going on.
You know, I don't like when people are rude. I just don't. You know. Here's a good comment. Stay classy, Melanie Little.
Is Melanie?
There's another good comment. Mike's about to start suplexing fools. That's what I feel like. I shouldn't have to feel like I'm want to like slam down somebody on my show, especially with Sean. You know, I wanted to have you could have asked a nice question, but the guy was being a. Olivia Niles says, "Can I call in?" Yes, you can, but I got to turn back on the phone.
Oh, Olivia. She is. You talk about Melanie talking about Jackson is smooth as butter. Olivia is like. She's like silk.
I don't even think that was Rogue T2. Other people are saying it's not. I think
I
you're
don't
right.
think it was either.
Yeah,
I don't think it was.
Think
I
it's
think it was
just
someone else here. Hold on.
Yeah. I'm turning back on my phone.
All right.
I want Olivia to. Let's see if we can get Olivia for the last call tonight. That would be good. Got another comment. Rogue's got his little brother's black shirt on. That's when he gets tough.
Yeah. You know,
I'm about to get tough. I'm about to take off the jacket, and
he was going to all the hearings for Karen. He was there.
I got that rule. Don't be rude to me when I'm giving you airtime on my show.
Yeah.
All right, phones
right, Patty's a great warrior.
Rogue's got his little brother's black shirt. Yeah, Olivia, you can call in now.
Great. I love Patty. She has my back all the time.
978-560-3155. Olivia, call in now. We don't want to hear from anybody else but Olivia right now.
Right. She's our combat analyst.
Yeah. Someone said Melanie should call in too. I would love her to call in, but
great.
I think she's probably got her own show going tonight.
She had it earlier tonight. She did a great job. Great job.
Listen to this one. The young jerk, should you say live to tape or recording? It's obvious we're recording if you're calling into our show. I mean,
right.
You're live to a million people.
We got three of us here. You know?
And I'm probably not just me recording either. Other people are recording. Hi, you're on the show. What's your name? Is this Olivia? Oh, it's doing that thing again. And I think this is Olivia. It's doing. See, I don't know what is up with this thing that I have to shut down the phone. I'm going to shut down the phone, Olivia, one more time. I hate that it does that. And it shows it works. It's like set up on the system. Everything's set up and it just doesn't come through.
Maybe that was Rogie.
Oh man, it could have been because he was acting like a tough guy.
Yeah, I mean, he might have had a few cocktails tonight. Anytime I spoke to him was during the day.
That's what I figured.
And I'm trying to shut down my phone. And it's talking.
Who said that?
That's my phone talking to me. I've tried to shut down the phone. It's doing that Alexa thing or whatever. It's like, oh my god,
Siri? Jesus.
Grant, call in. No, I don't want Grant calling in. Last time Grant called into the show, I asked him if he was worried about Rico.
Oh God!
And now he was using Rico. The guy steals all my shit. I swear to God.
No, what I loved, he and Kevin got into an argument on. You talk about your show.
Yeah,
Kevin and him are discussing two fools about the Rico. Right? None of them knew what they were talking about, but you could see Grant taking over the show from Kevin. Kevin's getting pissed. I know Kevin. He is getting livid, and they're arguing. the guests and the host are arguing over RICO. They don't understand RICO to save their lives. Think about it. They want to use a state RICO with Aiden and Karen and me and Olivia. I mean, come on. Are you serious? I don't even think Massachusetts even has a RICO yet. So
they're going to use it against people's free speech, a RICO charge.
really,
like that's not what it's
really,
about.
No, come on.
All right, I got the phone set back up. I turned the phone back on. It's on the system. I'm going to try to call her back because I'm pretty sure that was her. Actually,
that'd be great. Olivia's tough, man. I'll tell you.
There it goes. It's working.
Hello.
Hi, is this Olivia?
I know that voice.
Hi, yes, this is me.
That is her.
Wicked happy you're back on the show tonight.
So you can hear me properly now?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, good. So I was catching up on replay and I heard Sean say something that stood out to me about when he said Rogue called Brian Tully and asked him, do you guys have anything like Karen actually driving back to 34 Fairview that morning before she went to Jen McCabe's?
Right.
And you said that they lost her GPS for like a minute and a half.
Right.
Which
now that's according to Rogue.
Made me think, okay, well, if it's true, let's just hypothesize. That made me think, well, that would have presumably happened in the area where she's passing by the temple camera. And
Absolutely.
and then she continues onward heading towards Dedham Street.
Exactly.
And when you think about it, that's exactly in the area where John O'Keefe and Karen would have been driving like right before arriving to 34 Fairview. And did they ever consider that perhaps the reason they lost her GPS signal for a minute and a half is because the reception is so poor in that neighborhood? And perhaps the same thing happened to John O'Keefe's cell phone, and that he actually arrived at 34 Fairview at like 12:21 or a little after 12:20 instead of at what they hypothesized was 12:24, I think.
You see why we call her the combat analyst? Look at this. She's incredible. And Rogie, thank you. This is beautiful. Rogue, this is incredible.
To the show tonight.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Rogue's amazing.
Rogue is amazing.
The other reason I say that is because if you look at Richard Green's GPS analysis from the location data from Jen McCabe's cell phone, he says that when she's presumably walking out of the house at 34 Fairview, getting in her car to leave, he says that at that timestamp, that the signal or the reception improves significantly. So that suggests that the reception, not only at 34 Fairview, like where the house is located, but in that general vicinity is pretty bad.
Right. It all makes sense.
Which that is something that directly affects GPS because the hybrid GPS systems on cell phones, unlike standard GPS that relies on satellite, uses not only the cell towers, but Wi-Fi networks, etc.
Well, look at that.
So
who would think that Telly and Rogie would contribute to this case in that way? This is just beautiful. It really is.
And that by hanging up on Rogue, we get Olivia on the phone too.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. Yeah.
We got to thank Rogue even more. Thank you, Rogue, for being rude tonight.
Rogue saved
me off right away.
Rogue just killed Kevin. He just killed Kevin. He killed all the people. He killed the McAlberts. I mean, this is amazing. What if he did it on purpose? What if he's a double agent? He must be a double agent.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right. Well, I'll hop off. I'll let you guys keep it going. But I just wanted to.
I did have a question
on that.
I did have a question for you, Olivia. Right? What'd you think about Coffin Dafford saying that the hair was identified as John O'Keefe's.
Well, I know that they sent it to the Virginia lab for exhaustive testing, and the results from that have not been publicly released in any court record.
Okay.
And so, if that in fact the case, if we come to find that that is in fact true, that would be yet another example of the Commonwealth releasing private, non-public info to somebody who they themselves have said in an email has a huge Twitter reach, 70,000 plus followers.
Amazing.
And because, for example, another time she did that was when on January 6th, I believe it was, she was on a court TV panel. And if you guys recall, the first time that the Commonwealth ever made public in any record or filing the results from the canine marker testing from John's clothing was in the recently filed 300-page filing. And Coffendorfer reported on that on this January 6th court TV panel.
Right.
So that means that they also leaked that to her. And then, yet they want to go after people like Karen because she's talking to a journalist.
Come on. I know. And Kevin knew too. Kevin was talking about that too, So.
Oh, about the hair?
No, about the DNA not being on the clothes, the dog DNA, the canine DNA. He says, I can't confirm it, but that's what I'm hearing, so.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're right. That's right.
Right. So,
yeah.
Olivia, you're awesome. I got to tell you.
Yeah. You're also getting some
you guys
feedback.
Are too.
We also got some feedback on your comments about the GPS service from a couple people from Canton residents, Como and then Fitzgerald. He said GPS service is horrible on Cedar Crest, Fairview. When I door dash down there, I lose signal all the time.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, I had a few Canton residents who I talked to pretty regularly, and some of them, I think one or two of them lives like right around the corner from 34 Fairview, and they told me that the cell signal is horrible there on Fairview. So, I mean, and based on the forensic data, that would be consistent with that assertion. So, but I'm sure they didn't consider that, when they're analyzing the data.
Right. Because Karen would be so devious to know how to turn her GPS off when she's looking for the man that she loves. I mean, come on, can we do that? Just amazing.
Well, it's funny because the Commonwealth thinks that, first of all, how do you selectively turn just the GPS off on your phone? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, maybe there is a way that I don't know about, but the only way I could think that you would accomplish that is by putting your phone into airplane mode, for instance, which is something that I commented on with John O'Keefe's phone, because the Commonwealth says that his phone stopped showing any activity because it abruptly lost GPS signal. And but what's contradicted by that is the Apple Health movement data, which continues on beyond that abrupt, loss in GPS signal for, I think, I don't know, like 8 or something minutes later, because his last steps are taken at 12:32 a.m. So I guess 7 minutes and some odd seconds later. And then in the morning, the same thing. The Apple Health steps start accumulating 10 minutes before the GPS signal starts up again. And so either that means that either his phone was put into airplane mode or the signal was somehow cut off.
Right.
Or the signal at 34 Fairview is so horrible that when he was found in the morning and his phone was recovered from under his body, that it took the 10 minutes until signal was acquired because whoever had his phone had to walk in, some distance from where they were for it to receive signal.
There you go.
Which would mean that the cell phone data to, the GPS data that they're relying on is unreliable in that area.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, what did you think about today's hearing, Olivia?
Pretty underwhelming.
Well,
Except
yeah,
for the
but
3,000 plus pages that got.
Well,
revealed.
well, I mean, yeah, sorry. I mean, but I think we all were expecting that, the federal investigation initiating the TUI process. I couldn't imagine that they were just handing over the defense, like one piece of evidence.
right.
So,
Well, I think it's going to, like I said, here we are again. We got to hope for another date. God knows what's going to happen the next date. But someone did ask a question. This could all end before March 12th because the feds could come in and do a massive sweep. You just don't know. You don't know. Or the Commonwealth may next week and say, "Hey, listen, based on newly acquired evidence, we're gonna dismiss this case." I mean, it's their show. It's their pain. How much do they want? How much do they want to cut their losses now?
yeah,
To get ruined?
uh,
I mean, Karen had
I
that
have a
smile.
feeling that they're going to.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Karen had a very, very happy, joyful smile on her face today, which tends to tell me that, and who knows what that sidebar was all about right off the bat. So, yeah.
And I'm sure that she's probably been digging through, what of the evidence that she's able to look at, and probably some things were confirmed for her. Who knows? I mean, it seems like the only people who conducted a thorough investigation here were the defense. So I imagine a lot of their findings were corroborated by the federal investigation.
Sure. The nice thing
But
about
we
Karen,
shall see.
as I can imagine, is that she is so involved in, I mean, she'll take that, how many, 3,000, 3,100? She'll get
go
into
through
it.
it.
I mean, she will
Yeah.
go through it. I mean, you got to understand, she's just an incredible, intelligent woman. I mean, she'll be, this is like getting, gifts at Christmas time. I mean, she's going to know how they set her up. She's going to have confirmation. I mean, I wouldn't sleep for her. I'd go through this stuff like it was great. I'd love to be over there helping her. I mean, just think about what she's finding out for 2 years, what they did, how they just kept things from her, but, we all got to wait another, 2 weeks again? Jesus, so 2.5 weeks.
And unfortunately, we won't be able to see any of the TUI production, which it's just, me, I love going through the documents. So I'm itching to see what they've got.
We're going to know generally, right, through the supplements,
Mhm.
and especially when they argue. I just love to see how the Commonwealth will defend the arguments, will defend against the arguments. I mean, like I said, I don't see this happening. I don't know how they could ever allow this to happen, but you never know.
I see somebody in the chat, Jonathan Kumos, asking if I could talk about the Canton Police Department and the changing of their report. So, yeah, the original police report by Canton Police Department, obviously when Karen was arrested in the rain, that's like one of the most preliminary things any attorney would need. It's like there's the probable cause affidavit, but the police incident report is also very imperative. Yannetti was unable to get the original Canton Police Department report, and the Commonwealth refused to turn over that police report until 8 months later in October. So Karen was arrested on February 2nd, 2022, and arraigned, I believe, on the 3rd. They didn't get that Canton Police Department report until October. And when they finally got it, fortunately, I think Yannetti had held on to the hard copy that he received in court, and he was able to compare the version that they sent or they gave to him in October and notice that this version was altered and there was no distinction on it to say that it was altered. And they had changed not only the primary crime scene photo on the first page to a photo that was actually taken 6 days later and by Michael Proctor. And so the intention there is to make Karen look guiltier because obviously the Canton Police Department photos showed no taillight at the scene that morning. But additionally, they also changed phone numbers of, I believe, both Brian Albert and Brian Higgins on their witness list to new phone numbers, which is curious. And I don't recall if there were any other changes. If anyone in the chat knows
Pretty
if there
sure
was anything else that
phone
was
numbers,
changed.
definitely the phone numbers, and the proper way
Yeah, the
to
phone
have
numbers
done
and the
that.
photographs.
The proper way to have done that was, if they're going to do anything, they should have done it like an addendum, right? Not mess up the
Exactly.
original report, you know?
Well, the other thing that is problematic about it is that the crime scene photograph that they changed it to was a photograph that was taken by Michael Proctor, who is from which police agency? The Massachusetts State Police.
State Police.
Canton Police Department lost jurisdiction at 7:59 a.m. on
Right.
January 29th. This picture was taken on February 3rd by Michael Proctor from a different policing agency. So how did the Canton Police Department get their hands on materials that were from a different agency, and to the point where they had them to put into their report? I mean, that not only suggests collaboration, but it's just incredibly problematic.
No, it
Kind of
is.
defeats the whole purpose of, them losing jurisdiction in the first place.
Yeah. Well, of course, the whole case is problematic for them now. It's always been, but it got real for them today. Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem like it got a little more real for them today, the prosecution, I would say.
Yeah. I was
Thank you for
telling
calling
Roy,
tonight, Olivia.
Thanks so much for having me. It was good to catch up with both of you.
You too. You be well.
We'll talk later, Olivia.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Be good.
Always good to get a call from her.
Yes.
What are your, I mean, we've gone over so much stuff tonight, Sean. What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Unlike Olivia, listen, I mean, we knew that that the defense had put in this motion to get.
No, we're not taking it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
So,
my phone off.
I mean, and when I was on Dylan's show today, I was asking, does anybody know if Alan Jackson made it? And when the people started responding, yeah, Alan was there. I said, oh my God, this is going to get real. So, anyways, the fact that he was able to get out that 90%, of what they have deals with exculpatory information. 90% of that 3,100 pages shows that Karen's innocent. That's the takeaway. And then so now you have to have the Commonwealth do another 2E request, which is fine because it's already been done. It's going to be boilerplate. They just change the date and they change whatever they're at, and they put it through the process. It'll be quicker this time around. It just goes to see, we don't know what they want. We don't know what they're asking for. So they asked for a lot. They asked a lot in the first part. So anyways.
It's going to be crazy to see where this goes now.
Man. Well, I just hope there's no more surprises, no more arrests, that we get to March 12th and that you know what I loved? She said, we're going to start at 9. You can take as much time as you want. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
was,
it's gonna be a long day,
yeah, March 12th.
which is a Monday, right? Is that the Monday? We should look that up. I want to
Hey,
see what it is.
let me answer Tom Fleming's question. All
Yeah,
right?
I think I got it right here. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So Tom, here's the thing. What was my motivation? All right. I think I was pretty open about that. It was completely psychological. All right. You know, I drew you guys in and I put you guys back. I drew you back in again. I put you guys back. I brought you in again just so I could just give you all the bitch button. That's what I did.
You love that word tonight. Yeah.
Oh man, I'll tell you, that's going to be a shirt.
Like I did a Rogue. I gave him the B button tonight.
Did you get the bitch button? I'm sorry, you're probably getting whatever the demonetized.
Whoever that guy was,
So,
that guy just rubbed
I
me the
think it
wrong.
was
You know,
Rogie. I think it was,
Yeah.
but that's what it was, Tom. Nothing more. Hey, listen, you guys had me as a punching bag. I used you guys as a punching bag. It's all good, but now you're blocked. Now you don't get the good stuff now because I'm going to bring out some great stuff. Couple of you guys.
This guy is a troll, and he sent me $5.
This guy, Tommy Fleming.
Yeah.
No, listen, Tom.
Is he?
That's the story about Tom. He must be an English major. You know, he's an old Army guy. He is Kevin's moderator.
Oh boy.
He was up my ass back in the summer. Hey, good God, Sean, all this stuff, right? Sincere question, right? Bullshit. He's Kevin's moderator, right?
That's
Right?
hilarious.
Listen, there's so many stories. You know, forget about the can't read. If I really wanted to write a book, I wouldn't write about. I'd write about these idiots. I write about all the backstories. Trust me, the Facebook stuff is just Facebook alone. All that stuff,
right?
You could write volumes. But this type of stuff is even better. Trust me.
I hope I'm too boring. The only thing I do is I smoke a lot of weed.
I love that.
You love that. The XDA
DEA guy. How about that?
Yeah.
No, Tommy's
well,
not.
that settles me down from like wanting to think about body
Tom,
slamming Rogue for being rude tonight on the show.
Yeah, Tom's not a troll. Tom,
no,
but
not.
You know, he took it. He was the first guy to take a shot at me because I guess he doesn't like my ... or capitalizing. He thinks I chop up. You know, listen. I
wonder if you think Kevin's gonna be mad that he sent me $5 tonight.
No, that doesn't bother Kevin. What bothers Kevin is he's going to be unmasked. Kevin's, listen, you know, I hate to say it, but he's going to be found to be wrong on this whole thing. I don't know how he explains today's court appearance, you know, so.
It's just all Turtle Boy. That's all it is. His hate of Turtle Boy is like so much of this is like the cult, the this, the that. It's like,
yeah, and then he's wrapping me in. I'm on the. I should have asked Olivia, did she get her paycheck today? We talk about this all the time. How much did you make today? You know, it's crazy to think that, you know, we're on the payroll or we have this, you know, incredible insight, you know, to the team, right? It's crazy. These people are just out of their brain, out of their minds. So anyways.
It's funny too when Kevin talks about the mob, let's say.
Yeah.
They said the Turtle Boy mob, which I can get it because, you know, when I was critical, I got some shit. But you know what? It didn't come from Turtle Boy. He was in jail at the time.
Right.
And number two, the mob on the other side that's on Kevin's side, they may be smaller, but they're nastier. Yeah. And some of those people are more mentally not well, and they will spend the time on you. So let me just say, like, I've gotten shit from both sides, and I think that Kevin misses the mob that is standing behind him. Like, so I don't see how he can say that. Like, where, you know,
Kevin doesn't
follow to me.
When the big split happened back in the summer, when the justice group split and half of them went there, and I stayed. You talk about getting attacked. People that were friends with me were banging me big time. That's a whole story in itself, right? But like I said, certain things happened. I just wasn't down with it. That's just it. And Rogue was a part of it. He went over, but like I said, it just, you know, you got to be true to your convictions. That's what it is. And it's funny. You had two groups with the same passion, but within the groups there were problems.
There
I don't
were.
know why, but there were problems.
I think
I
sometimes
take
people
that
get
back. I do know why, but
yeah.
it's a whole that like I said, that's a whole
Yeah,
other
we don't even want to talk about that
nah,
tonight, right? That's
it's not worth it.
it's a
I
sub
could.
story.
Yeah, sub.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we can have you back on the show, talk
You're
more
more than
about it
welcome.
as this goes along. And
Yeah, you're more
eventually,
than
I want you to play some music. There were Dave from Unsafe Spaces commented
you
tonight.
know,
He
we
wanted you to
can't
pull out the guitar.
I've got 5 guitars, a bass and 4 regular guitars. I got the 2 Gibsons and I got the 2 Fenders and I got a Fender Jazzman bass. I got great head rush speakers. Let me tell you something. When my wife goes to work and she goes, I just light this place up. But the problem is I haven't had a chance since the case has started, but I'm slowly getting back into it, So
What kind of music do you play? Like, would you like
I'm a
rock, roll,
blues.
jazz,
Listen,
blues?
back in the day, I was a disco. Karen, no, I was a DJ. I was a disco
No
DJ.
way. You were disco DJ. I love
I
it.
had more.
What kind of songs were
vinyl.
you playing? Donna
Oh,
Summer.
the Tramps. I'll tell you, the Tramps. I had more black music than most black guys. I DJ'd in a competition at the Third World. All right. You know what Third World is, right?
Yeah.
Right. Third
Yep,
World.
yep.
So it was me and like all these other guys from the Third World. I won it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
uh,
You were good at it.
yeah, no, it was listen, I'm just a blue-eyed soul guy, but I'm more for my music, I'm more of a Clapton, Stevie Ray type, Joe Bonamassa. I'm a blues guy. And I was more of a rhythm guitarist, but I'm into now. There's a woman on Robin, what's her name? Robin, I forget. And I was telling her, she was a guitarist also. Talk about the scales, the pentatonic scales, Mixolydian, all this stuff. It's crazy, but it keeps the mind going. I'm 66. I got this case occupies every minute of the day till 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It's amazing, but it's all worth it.
Now, after we've wrapped it up and we talked about the blues, another
Yeah.
question comes in.
Okay.
I'd like to answer it because the question is Chief Rafferty was front and center and now appears to be walking backwards. What do you think? I don't know how she's walking backwards. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What do you think, Sean?
Hey, I broke into this whole thing by sending her a letter. Okay. I sent her a letter. I know she got it. I signed my name and my credentials. There was 17 bullets that I gave her. They were not case specific. Any executive level, she is a chief of police. She is considered an executive, right? She's the top dog in that department. And she never once answered it. And, like I said, one question was the last one. I still stand by it. Have you cautioned your people about Brady violations and the need to provide exculpatory information? That was number 17. That was by design. So.
And do you think she's like changing her tune at all? I don't see her changing.
No, not at all. I mean, listen, she learned from the best, her dad. I mean, she's going down with the ship. I'm telling you. I mean, if there's anything, she will never give it up. I mean, but like I said, there are police officers in that station that have made statements. I'm just going to leave it there. That's it.
Ooh, that's a good. That's
Active police officers, active.
right now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big scoop
And
you
she
just
did.
dropped right there.
I'm going to put this to bed. And there's enough people in Canton that know this, that she said it to. And you can, Tom Fleming and Kevin and all these other happy Hosher people, she said, my biggest regret, quote unquote, was not securing that crime scene. So Kenny Dougal and I don't know if there's one other guy that keeps going that, oh no, Braden and this other guy, Manny, whatever his name is. No, it's in the log. The chief of police told citizens of Canton that her biggest regret, because she was the acting chief, Berkey was on health leave or some stupid thing. My biggest regret, I'll never forget this quote, is that I didn't secure that scene. That's it. I'm glad I got that out. That was
That's amazing.
Jay
That's a
Burke.
good
Thank you.
way to end it. I guess the follow up on that I want to ask you is, do you think any of those police officers will ever do a show like this in the future, like after this case
You
is
know,
over? Maybe even you think they'll ever come clean and talk about what actually happened here?
listen, I hope so. I listen. I hope I hope those few, have corralled enough guys, all right, to say this was wrong. Listen, we know it's wrong. We know you're trying to tell me that they smashed the light and no one knew about it, right? They gave Berkey a supporting role in this case, right? 3 pieces left the station that night for the cert to find. That's all that left. The rest is all fantasy. It's all fantasy. No one found anything on those 5 undocumented searches. No one, because they never left. They just threw Berkey a piece of tail light and said, okay, you can testify at this trial. It's classic, a classic move. And they threw him a piece. He's got a supporting role. Well, he's on the wrong end of this one. So
Gonna be crazy to see what happens
the
there.
funny thing is, it's true. They don't even have a picture of John on the ground. They didn't put any crime scene tape up, right? Nothing. We've been over this 1,000 times, but anyways, we could go on forever. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
always take the over. Take the
2.5 hours. My girlfriend asked me, how long are you gonna be on tonight? I said, honey, I don't know. It could be a long show.
Always take the over. With
She
me,
just
take
took
the
out
over.
the dogs. I know.
Take
I
the
should have
over.
said 3 hours actually. Then
Right.
I would have been under because we're at 2.5.
I gotta tell you, all these people in the chat, they're all listen, even the trolls, they're all my motivation. I get up every morning because of you guys. I really do. And I'm not stopping. My whole platform is to get justice for John and to get Karen exonerated, because I believe that much in Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. I know it's hard, that the family probably hates me. All right. I'm sorry, but I'm doing this for your son and your brother and your uncle and cousin, whatever the hell. And I'm doing that for him because his brothers in blue did shit for him. Nothing. They desecrated his body and his memory. And that will come out. Right.
Thank you so much for being here, Sean. Spending
Buddy,
2.5 hours with us
Mike,
tonight.
It's always a pleasure.
You're the man. I can't wait to have you back again, and I'm glad we're friends. It's for me, being a cannabis guy, to be a friend with a
listen,
big
I
time
will tell this
DEA
to the
guy.
crew here. I was so nervous coming on to Mike's first show. I said, Jesus Christ, I got all these trolls, but I'm a DEA guy coming onto a cannabis. But the funny thing about it is, I got no problem with cannabis. Trust me, I'll take cannabis all over, oxycodones and all this other stuff. And as it turned out, we had a great show. It was awesome.
It's not like I'm lighting them up while I'm doing the show either.
That's great. Listen, it's always a pleasure. You guys are my motivation. Even the trolls. Come on, I gotta get material to come back at you guys. They're tough. The trolls are tough. They are.
Except Rogue. Rogue was weak tonight.
Rogie.
He tried to be a tough guy with me, and it's like, dude, it's my show. It's my show.
There are real tough guys that don't have to say a word. Then there's guys like Rogie.
That's what I'm saying. He's trying to push me around. It's like, dude, I invited you to call in. Like,
well, hey, probably had a great question.
He probably did. But too bad. You weren't nice to the right guy, man. You got to learn your lesson.
He has access to me. I didn't shut him down. He has access to me. So
I think he's still calling, actually. There's a couple of people who've been calling nonstop. The phone's like, I turned the phone back on. I disconnected it from the Bluetooth. I turned off the ringer, and the phone just keeps ringing, man. It just keeps ringing. People will just, I took off the phone number like 10, 15 minutes ago, and it just keeps ringing. So please, Michael, I'm going to ask everyone, don't be calling me at midnight.
Just
that's what happens, Sean. They'll be watching at midnight and they still call.
Oh, yeah. I'll just say this, Michael. Anytime you want me to come back, I'm here for you. You know,
Awesome. That's what I want to hear.
I believe in this
Thank
movement.
you so much for being here tonight. You're
No,
like
you're
our
welcome.
best guest.
You're welcome, Mike. And thanks to all these people here. I love watching this. I can actually see the comments. It's beautiful.
I love this comment too. Olivia wrote, "The people love Sean," and that is the truth.
Well, like I said, I'm doing this for you guys and John and Karen. That's what it's all about. I mean, I never thought by writing a stupid letter that I'd get invited on Aiden's show and then start this thing. That was not my thing. And I still kind of say to myself, Jesus Christ, since April, how this has evolved. And like I said, if anything I can contribute helps this cause, it's a great day for me. It is. So
this is great. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna play the video again because I love this video.
Yeah, that's great. John
Como made for us to close the show. I want to thank everyone for watching, all your comments and questions. We got a lot of questions tonight. Sorry couldn't get to them all, but we tried.
I know.
And thank you for all the phone calls. You got a Barnstable number. Keep calling me. I'm sorry we're not going to be able to take your call tonight. Thank you again so much for Olivia for calling in and all the other calls like Patty. I think that guy Rogue for being rude. Thank you.
That's all right.
And I want to thank especially Sean McDonough. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome, Michael. You're welcome.
We'll see everyone next time.
Beautiful. Sorry, Michael. I'm sorry, Yuri. I'm sorry, Brian Tully. Right? You're going to jail.